to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only live selected few in my circle. And this is a real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get down.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Hoop Jargon back with another banger. Let me get my music together. You know I always be slacking on music. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Hoop Jargon Media Network show. We're going to talk about air reading. I know I pushed this back a day or two, and I got a special guest that's going to come and just knock it out the park with the air read takes, because, you know, with a lot of like what I call low-hanging fruit or just like hot topics, I try to sit back and evaluate everything before I go and speak on it. Now, I was on a panel with, shout out to my guy, DJ Raw Truth, and, you know, I got into a back and forth with a young lady, and I just think that with a situation like this, it's important to unpack it from beginning to end. Talk about the whole thing encompassing and be able to project later. So I'm going to say that because I'm going to lose some of y'all today. But you see I'm ripping PVAMU all day, man. I'm about the Swac first and foremost. I'm just going to give an honest take. Just saying. So shout out to everybody coming in nice and punctual. Brian Turner, spoiler alert, who's going to be my guest show holder. He's very, very sharp. Y'all going to like what he had to say. Trust me. Shout out to Miss Diva, always showing love. Thank you so much, Miss Diva. Thank you so much, Miss Diva. And American Negro in the building says, what up, man? Good to see you. All right, so let's go ahead and without further ado, well, okay, again, so I want to talk a little bit about why the fact that air read has, you know, such strong things to say about what's going on around and what's expected out of a coach, what's expected out of a situation with the Division I program. And so we're going to review the video. We're going to do some commentary ourselves. And if you want to come up here and say, who, Brian, you tripping? Guess what? You got the platform to do that. Straight up. Shout out to NCCU dog, man. Good to see you, man. I don't like how y'all did this, man. Might have to boot you out. All right, without further ado, let me bring my guy up, Brian Turner. What's up, man?
Salute, how y'all doing? What the
Doing
business
good,
is.
Man. Yes, sir. So before we speak on the air read situation, tell the listeners what gives you the right to be able to speak on.
You know, I'm a lot like a lot of you. I'm somebody who follows HBCU sports very closely, and I guess you could say kind of intimately as well. Shout out to Southern University. I'm also somebody who, like a lot of you, I consider myself a logical thinker. I also consider myself somebody who looks at things from not only both perspectives, but the logical perspective. You know, I prefer to look at things from a background of what things really are instead of what I want them to be. Okay. And I also look at things as, you know, a black man from the South. You know, I'm a black man who was born and raised in the South. I know there's a certain, I believe you could say, way of life down here is a little different. That's a little different than other places. I mean, HBCUs are heavily present down south. Prevalent down south. Excuse me, not a vocabulary major.
Are you good, man?
Not an English major, rather. And I believe that not only me, but I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that it's time for us to finally look at things from a less emotional standpoint.
Okay. And that's me all the way, man. So again, I know I'm gonna lose some people with my takes. But my take comes from a place of love, and I'm just more of like, you know, my parent situation. I'm gonna come with the tough love. I'm not gonna come with the, oh, it's gonna be okay, pat you on the head. You know, I'm more of the like, okay, now listen, this is a mistake here. Let's address the situation. Let's not dance around it, because at the end of the day, in my opinion, if we gloss over things too much, it's gonna be really hard to accept reality. Because you done glossed over so much of pertinent things that should be taken or adhered to, for that matter. So let's review the video a little bit. And y'all hit that like button. Thank y'all so much for the early birds in. I know this stream will everybody get in, they'll get in. I know I pushed it back a day, but thank y'all for riding with your boys. So without further ado, and if you want to stop at any point, Brian, let me know. So I want to get these little points. Somebody broke it down like in a 4-minute little thing, and then we'll hop into your talking points you had, bro.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get it. Thought we was getting it.
Building. They working on the front of the building. This is the same people said we gonna help you build what you want. How I'm gonna believe you, man?
And let me start off real with that. Now, what he's talking about is the field not being prepared properly, and you having less than eyesore basically. And he said that as people said, I'm gonna build with you. Now, here's the deal. A lot of people will say that about Coach Prime selling the dream, and these schools will do the same thing to a coach in a hot minute. In a hot minute, they'll oversell what they can do because that's just the way the game goes. And I'm not mad at it. And I know Ed Reed is mad, but the check and balances is real, man. So the same way you're going to criticize Prime for going, a little too hard, as it were, of selling himself, schools do the same thing.
Let me explain. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. Let me explain another reason why Ed Reed and also many other coaches like Coach Prime are so angry. HBCUs, for the most part, are FCS schools. FCS schools are Division I schools. Regardless of them being HBCUs, they're still FCS schools. FCS schools mean that not only Division I, they should be able to have the kind of resources other schools at that level have, regardless of them being HBCUs or not. So I can understand where he's coming from. If this is a Division I school, this school, regardless of happenstance, regardless of what's going on, either the alumni base or the athletic base, or both, should be able to fund the university properly if they want to continue playing at this level.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And the reason why, listen, guys, the reason why I'm so stringent with my evaluation, because I played Division I at two different schools, one of which was in Southland Conference, and the other one was Prairie View A&M. And I did notice certain differences, man. So when some people say, "Oh, well, no, it's just because they're in a different season and the AD don't have time to clean out his office," well, he's going to speak on that. It's like, no, that's not how that world works. That world works from a lot of preparation to have guys in the situation where they can compete, like you said, on the Division I level. And certain things that he's going to point out is just not up to snuff. That's not even conjecture. That's just what it is. All right, let's keep going.
How I'm gonna believe him? Didn't I tell you I don't trust nobody? I'm coming over giving them the same passion and they smiling and laughing in my thing. Funny? We gonna ride through the fence they ain't fixed the fence. We about to ride through this fence.
That's a tripping hazard.
This ain't even football side. This ain't even the football side. And y'all talking about Madden and my Uncle Prime. Y'all mad at Dion, mad at Prime. This shit is every HBCU.
Now, let me say this. That's not factually true, but this is the case at a lot of HBCUs. Because there's a lot of HBCUs with their stuff together. There's stuff with like things that he's encountering right now he won't see. But a lot of HBCUs you're gonna see this. So any commentary on that part?
75-25. It also depends on geography, where the school is located at. For example, not to brag on my school, I go to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. When schools are located in metropolitan areas, when schools are located in areas that are more heavily populated, it's a lot easier for them to access resources in order to fund fields. For example, not only Southern, but like NC-A&T, that's in Greensboro, North Carolina. Schools like that are either in metropolitan areas or areas where it's slightly either higher income or, generally speaking, there's just more people around. Facilities, especially athletic facilities, tend to be nicer. I know also not only NC-A&T, but also Alcorn State, which is actually, it's more of a rural area, but that's the only school in that area. So that school actually has access to more resources. Bethune's in Delray Beach, if I'm not mistaken. Delray Beach is very rural area, and areas like that, it's generally a little bit harder to fund colleges due to the simple fact that it's a smaller area. I'm not gonna say impoverished area at all. There's a lot of good things going on out there, but Bethune, schools like Bethune are in more rural areas that it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to fund an athletic program. So Ed Reed is absolutely right. It is 70. If he would have said 75-25, then yeah, I would agree. But it maybe not be all HBCUs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 75-25 denotes that it's a problem.
Daytona Beach.
Yeah. I think we can do that now.
Daytona Beach. Yeah, my bad. I said Delray Beach, Daytona Beach. I'm not from Florida, so see.
Yeah, there you go. So Daytona Beach being a place So I mean, listen, dog. It's one of those nasty truths that we don't like to bring up because it makes us look bad in discussions talking to other people with PWIs. I understand the reasoning in it. I'm just like, man, if we're gonna just evaluate Ed Reed on the merit of him to be evaluated at, I'm not lying. That's the problem we have. I mean, in the case example I show is when Prairie View won the Swac championship in 2009, we won on the middle school field. Like Blackshear Field used to be a middle school field that we had since, and I don't know the inception date, but Prairie View was founded in 1878. So shit, I don't know. 1876.
We could go down the rabbit hole of why these HBCUs are doing such a horrible job funding different departments. A friend of mine did a live stream, a very good friend of mine did a live stream talking about how Dion wanted to voluntold Jackson State into doing a audit, and for some odd reason, once he brought up wanting to do an audit, all of a sudden the school had a lot of problems with him. So we could talk about that. That'll be a conversation for days, weeks, months at a time about the financial corruption, so to speak. I hate to say it like that, but a lot of financial corruption going on a lot of these HBCUs. The people at the top aren't doing a very good job of taking care of the people at the bottom. And by people at the bottom, I mean the different departments. But you find it that, and like I said before, HBCUs have most of them are FCS level schools, Division I FCS schools. They have the same enrollment and the same, I'm not going to say the same alumni base, but the same enrollment size as a North Dakota State, a South Dakota State, what's another school in Texas? I mean, Sam Houston State, Lamar, schools like that. Yeah. And those schools all have way better facilities for some odd reason. Well, it's not an odd reason. We know why, but we can get into that whenever you want to. But we all know financial corruption is very common at HBCUs.
Well, and just to make it more personal, my first school I went to was Stephen F. Austin State University, and that's the school I was referencing. And I'm not saying it was that much better than Prairie View, but in a lot of ways it was. From getting your housing together, from the financial aid situation, to the facilities we had to play in. It just was. So when I get in these conversations and I see some people just never really been in the trenches like that, they just don't know. And I'm saying
the hood can be a very eye-opening place for people who are more used to the finer things in life, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it is what it is, man. I'm a kid, like I had no expectation out of college. I come from the hood, man. Yeah. I just judging on what I saw. So when I see some of these arguments, they're very disingenuous in my opinion.
Someone mentioned in the comments, Bethune is a private school. A friend of mine played baseball for Bethune a couple years ago. He played baseball. He was an outfielder for Bethune, and he went there for 4 years. He transferred there from a JUCO in Texas, and then he went to Bethune, and he liked it. He liked going to school there. Bethune is an athletic powerhouse. They've been a powerhouse in football and baseball for years. In fact, they were a two-time national champion in football back in 2011 and 2013. So, and I'm sure people who go to Bethune can tell you, Ed Reed is going to have access to a lot of football talent when he goes there. It's not like going to Jackson State where it's kind of hard to get the best talent because Jackson, Mississippi is kind of not in the best place geographically for football players, but Bethune is in Daytona Beach. Daytona Beaches are surrounded by a lot of areas that are football crazy, so he'll have access to good players. But as far as facilities, he's not going to the University of Miami, but we'll get into that more later.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And again, the whole point of this stream, ladies and gentlemen, is call it down the line, man. You're talking about two guys who were SWAC graduates, SWAC made, SWAC paid, and we just gonna call it how we see it. And it ain't all about the feelings. Let's see. Jay Blue says, I used to work there. It's crazy how they had a great athletic program with the level of facilities that they have. Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, they're huge. If you ever seen Bethune-Cookman play if you ever seen MEAC teams play football, like I'm not gonna lie, as a SWAC guy, it's pretty impressive watching them play. They have some big, strong athletes, and on top of it, they're usually pretty well coached. I remember back in the day watching Bethune, I was blown away by how big and athletic they were.
I mean, and it shows up on the field. I mean, you talked off camera about how some of the SWAC MEAC, the past 15 years of SWAC MEAC competition, it ain't really been competition.
No, the SWAC, the MEAC is 12-3, and which I think is a bigger issue than, which pardon my, like I said before, pardon my analysis, but I think a bigger issue in HBCU football isn't just funding. It's really disparity between the Swac and the MEAC. The MEAC is making the Swac look really, really bad at football right now. 12-3 in Swac MEAC challenges. What was it? 8-2 in the Black National Championship game the last 10 times in the Swac and the MEAC. I think that's a bigger story than just funding and Black Pride and things of that nature. I think it's a bigger. I think what needs to happen is, what can the Swac do to catch up with the MEAC in football? Because I think we need to worry less about off the field and more about on the field and how the Swac can catch up, especially immediately.
And I'm gonna keep it funky, man. I think it's like it's a company line among some people who think a certain way. Because I mean, one of the talking points that has come up as well in Houston is the thing of white supremacy being part of kind of baking the cake of us not getting the funding and what have you. And one thing I hate to do is when you get too far into it, is Excuseville. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for you to really pin down a problem. So
of course,
if you're gonna put a big veil like white supremacy over everything, okay, so we know that to be so our whole lives. If that's what we want to agree to, what are you gonna do with it? And I think Eddie George had like a little speech that's kind of apropos to what we're saying. Is like, okay, what are the resources you have, and what can you make happen with those resources? I think that's the more important thing to discuss, whether or not that people are giving you the appropriate funds, because you're doing that, in my opinion. Well, it's not opinion. You're doing it from a position of asking. And when you're asking someone, you can't dictate the terms. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, like I said before, Southern, Grambling, and Alcorn have all been dominant in HBCU football, and they have the same facility problems as Jackson State. Only difference is, as I mentioned before, they're in metropolitan areas, so they're not as bad, but they're nothing to just be blown away by. They've won by grit, determination, and hiring the right people to coach the teams. Like these are teams that traditionally have great coaching, great culture. These are programs that don't rely on handouts. These are programs that win with who they got. And keep in mind, Jackson State had the greatest running back in the history of football, and they've still only won one HBCU national championship. No offense to Jackson State, they're a blue blood. I respect them totally, but before we talk about funding, Southern, Alcorn, Grambling, and to an extent Texas Southern, they've all been relatively, more than relatively, very successful HBCU football programs up to this date going forward. Especially within their conference.
No, you're absolutely right. And again, our whole point of the stream is to just call it how it is. It's just not
call it down the middle.
Call it down the middle. So y'all hit the like button, man. Let's get some more bodies in here. And I know I haven't streamed in a while. I've been just handling some personal matters. But when I get talking to brothers like Brian, we met on a different stream on a whole different kind of platform. But we started talking about Swac sports, and we both were like the only two in the panel really knew what we were talking about. So I was like, man, I got to bring you over to this.
And that's an important thing, man. That's an important thing. You got a lot of folks who aren't necessarily maybe sports fans. I played sports most of my life up until I got to college. I played baseball and football most of my life. But I think the biggest thing is like a lot of people, not only do I pay attention to sports, you have several people who don't pay attention to HBCU sports in general.
Absolutely.
So they'll be talking about somebody, this, that, and the third, and it's like, we went to these schools, we know the history, we know what will go on. It's not as doom and gloom as you think it is. It's just some HBCUs put themselves in positions to where they make themselves unsuccessful because they're not trying hard enough. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, if you've been in the trenches, because you see the difference, the delineation between schools that put more effort in. And I call my school out, Prairie View, man. We are so bad at this, of being good fans, and we'll start to compare ourselves to like Jackson fans and Southern and Grambling. I was like, no, we ain't nothing like them. And in fact, I'm working with our alumni affairs person named Miss Phyllis Darden, and I'm like, I'm gonna help her out like on the grunt level of like getting our alumni in check, so they can catch up to like the standard. Like we need to have a standard, and a lot of these schools are just like my school. That there's no real standard, so we can't sit here and gloss over like everything is just all good. Everything is for face value. Like I don't play that.
Absolutely.
It's not fair. It's not fair, man, because it is a delineation between Swac schools. And what's going on in Bethune, I mean, that's kind of unacceptable, man.
Right. Especially considering the fact that Bethune has been a successful program. Absolutely. The thing is, I just think that what's going on in Bethune is Ed Reed is basically what's going on is Ed Reed is putting people in timeout. Ed Reed is basically putting people in timeout until they didn't clean their goddamn room. Clean your damn room up. That's all he's doing. But the thing is, you got a bunch of grown adults who are so used to getting away with stuff for so long. like Mama Turner is always telling me, is everyone gets mad when the mirror gets put up in front of them.
That's fact. And you know what? I want you to expound that point. Because then you talked again about how dominant Bethune-Cookman was. So
very.
How good this program has been with the bullshit.
They've been arguably one of the top 5 or 10 HBCU football programs ever. That's not hyperbole. This is a dominating football program. This has been a program that has set a standard, especially on defense. You watch Bethune-Cookman defense, and these guys, they fly around the football. They're physical. And on top of that, you talk about the last 10 years, they've won 2 HBCU national championships. Now they won 2 HBCU national championships. They've been one of the most dominant programs in the Swac MEAC Challenge. You can argue that Bethune-Cookman has been just as impressive as NC A&T in the Swac MEAC Challenge. They've played against some very tough competition. They beat Alcorn State. They beat no offense to y'all, they beat y'all handily a few years ago. They upset Southern University back in 2010 or 2009. Recently, because they had a coach who was there for many decades. He was the all-time winningest coach there. He left, and of course, when great coaches leave, there's always going to be a bit of a, very few programs can recover quickly from a great coach leaving. I forget that gentleman's name. Someone in the chat might be able to correct me, but Bethune-Cookman has been a very successful program as far as HBCU dominance goes. So a guy like Ed Reed, who is the heart and soul of football in the early 2000s, especially on defense. Ed Reed was basically, I guess you could say Derwin James before he was a Derwin James. Just the guy who really embodied the heart and soul of football. A guy like him is going to fit in just fine in a very tough physical program like Bethune. CJ Blue is talking about.
I agree wholeheartedly, man. Like Ed Reed is a guy who is a football guy. And it's funny because to juxtapose him against Coach Prime being one of the best defensive backs ever played, and he's very flashy. Ed Reed, one of the best safeties ever played, and he's very stoic. So I think that you're seeing a different personality type merge into the same world, who may have the same takeaway, and it's just being seen totally different because Prime, he chose to smooth over these things on the front end. He chose to focus on the positive. Ed Reed's coming in more pragmatically, like, yo, man, this shit got to get better. And I think people just
less idealistic.
That's too soon for some people.
So Ed Reed's from where I'm from. I'm from Houma, Louisiana, which is outside New Orleans. Ed Reed is from St. Rose. St. Rose is a little town. Both those towns are right outside the West Bank of New Orleans. Those are two very country towns, and they're two towns where a lot of people have a more conservative, maybe not politically, but more conservative life kind of outlook on life. And when you're from towns like that, when you're from where he's from, you look at life very black and white. You don't look at things from a very he's not the most woke guy in the world. Ed Reed is very hardcore. Ray Lewis used to say Ed Reed was the most hardcore guy you ever met.
That's a hell of an endorsement from Ray Lewis.
And that's coming from maybe football's most violent tackler. And Ed Reed played on I'm an LSU fan, so I guess I'm not going to be biased. He played on the greatest college football team of all time. So he played on 02-01 Miami. He played on Army.
That's a great team.
More than great. Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, Jeremy Shockey. He played on a football team that's iconic in the sports world. A team that in many ways represents the greatness that is college football, especially black college football. A lot of great African American players played on that team. You can make the case that 02 Miami is 02 Miami gave us the modern NFL. Jonathan Vilma, Andre Johnson, Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, Ed Reed, the late great Sean Taylor. That team really gave us modern football.
Even Philip Buchanan, who's a burner. He was a burner.
Philip Buchanan, hell yeah, he's a coach now. As a matter, I forget where the coach is at.
Now, I love that team, and I hate Miami. But that 02 team was the truth, though. Yeah, I got to give you your ultimate props on that. So we got a question from the audience, and shout out to Greg Sutton. Again, y'all hit the like button. I know I've been doing a little fidgeting. I couldn't find my charger for my laptop. So I was just like, yeah, we got a good conversation. Like, hold on. So, appreciate y'all staying tuned, because that's what I was doing behind the scenes. Anyway, Greg says, question, did Ed Reed not taking the interview first? Did you trash the school after taking the interview? Well, he said he's not officially there. I'm sure he interviewed already. So what are the idiosyncrasies with that?
Well, first off, I'll put it to you like this. I'm sure Ed did his research before. Ed is not a dumb guy, and I'm sure Ed is from Louisiana. Ed knows all about HBCUs, even though he didn't go to one. I'm sure Ed used to go to Bible class like everyone else did growing up. I'm sure Ed knew the situation he was walking himself into. I think what might have happened is Bethune might have sold Ed something that Bethune might have sold Ed a bit of a Trojan horse, so to speak. Not saying anyone's at fault, but I think what might have happened is they told Ed that the football program was stable. But I think the reason why Ed went live like this is not to bash the school. He understands that HBCUs can't expect other people to give him money besides the alumni. That was his way of trying to get the alumni as well as the athletic department to not only do better, but to get there, but start doing better yesterday. It was a kick in the butt. It was a kick in the butt trying to get them to move faster because, like I said before, one guy mentioned going to D2. You can't go to D2. If HBCUs go to D2, from FCS to D2, it'll financially crash a lot of the school because the revenue, it won't generate enough revenue because you need TV deals and all that other. You play college sports, you know the importance of staying at Division I level. You drop down to Division II, it can destroy your program. You know that. And I think the reason why Ed Reed is getting so mad is because this is a Division I school with a passionate football history. Just like they rolled out the red carpet for Dion and at least did their best to try to scrub the place down before he got there.
a little quick clean. little spot clean.
Bro, it's just that I just think that Ed Reed is more, and like I said, this is a guy who doesn't come from a losing mentality. He's a two-time Super Bowl winner he was the heart and soul of the greatest college football team of all time. Mm-hmm. So you gotta understand where he's coming from. He doesn't come from this I'm gonna say he don't come from a welfare mentality.
Yeah, and listen, man, it's different. A lot of people don't understand the personal sacrifice you take being a part of these HBCU experiences in most cases. You got to overlook a lot of stuff. You go to the program is just taken care of. And, and I did that Prairie View, bro, off the strength, off the love. And I wasn't tripping. Like, I never at one point want to transfer from Prairie View because we had worse stuff in places that we played or my former school at Stephen F. Austin. I never once considered leaving. And I loved it because I embraced it for what it was. But I wasn't no damn coach. I was a player. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't no 5-star recruit player either. I probably was a 1-star player. You know what I mean? And I went professional from there. So I got my footing down once I got down. But, I came in with higher expectations than when I got to Prairie View. But at the same time, I wasn't tripping. Because the
right.
It's almost like the minutia of being at an HBCU. It kind of balances out on some level.
Right, and I want you to also keep this in mind too, brother. HBCUs are not the only colleges in America that look less than stellar or less than up to par. Most schools under the FCS level, especially schools that aren't football powerhouses, they don't look aesthetically pleasing. You can't really compare it. In fact, like I said, if you know more about FCS athletics, you'll understand. Outside of the North Dakota states and South Dakota states, most FCS schools, even James Madison, most FCS schools aren't the most pleasant to look at. I've been to Sam Houston State, and I can tell you.
Campus. I've been there too.
Huh?
I've been to Sam too. It's not a beautiful campus. Per se.
No, it's not a pretty campus at all. It's a little. It's not that much bigger than Prairie View. They have around, because Prairie View's enrollment's about 10,000, 11,000. Sam's about 30. Huh?
Well, as far as campus size, not student body, but yeah, campus wise, yeah, Prairie View blows Sam Houston out the water.
Yeah, Prairie View might actually be a better looking campus. So most FCS level schools are not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing schools. Yeah. You know, once you start getting to the Conference USAs, the Conference USA, once you start getting to the non-Power 5, when you get to Power 5 school, then you start seeing the glory of college football. But when you're outside the Power 5, you have to understand this is America. We don't value education at all levels, at all races. We don't value education. So we don't put money into it.
Hey, ask any teacher. I'm a former teacher, so yeah, ain't no money in there. So it is what it is.
You know, so I think what Ed Reed was more doing. I think what Ed Reed is more doing is giving you a kick in the butt. And I think a lot of black folks, me speaking as a black man myself, none of us are perfect, but I think a lot of us don't like correction. I think a lot of us get offended when people tell us the truth. A little bit too much, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Again, too much too soon is my take from that. So we twinged it, y'all. Y'all hit that like button. Let's get some more bodies, man. So I want to play a little bit more of that video because we cooking, man, and we getting exactly what I wanted the discussion to be. Like, let's just look at it from a pragmatic standpoint. Let's take the pride away and the ego away, and let's evaluate it on the merit of what he's saying. And is that something that you can actually improve? Because as I said on the title, like Ed Reed has no filter. So just take it away from like.
They ain't watch Mic'd Up, OG. They ain't watch Mic'd Up. They ain't watch Inside. They ain't watch the 2000 Baltimore Ravens show. They ain't see all that.
Come on, man. Like, he the leader of that crazy locker room. Like, are you kidding me? Like, with defense was dominant. Come on.
Now, hey, that's new. Hey, what you're seeing right now, that's New Orleans. That's New Orleans. Like, Ed Reed is about as New Orleans as you can get. That's a real New Orleans dude. So I just letting y'all know right here. We ain't the most woke people down here. I know people think it's all fun and games. Like, Ed Reed's from outside New Orleans, but he's still a New Orleans guy. But that's old school New Orleans. That's a guy eats nails for breakfast without any milk. So
so to put all this in a bow, and I'm gonna play a little bit more of the video. You gotta kind of watch it under the frame of a very successful guy who's very vocal, who come into a situation where what the brother said, T Blue, I believe, said that like he had to have known what this stuff looks like. We're in this new Skype era. So basically the profile of Division I probably overstood him evaluating the campus properly, which that's a him problem, in my opinion. But so all these things kind of speak to like the person who just found this out and him kind of coming with a non-filtered reaction to it, that it's not buffered by like most of us who went to HBCUs, how we kind of protect that shield because we know it's some fuckery going on, but we choose to like kind of gloss over a few things because we understand the big part is worth it at the end of the day. He don't have a full buy-in yet because he's not experienced it yet. This man has not coached a single game yet. So now he's just like in a speculatory sense. So I want to set the backdrop perfectly, so people can listen to Ed Reed with the right ears, if that makes sense. So let me go with that being said.
Bro, we riding through the fence.
So most people who go to HBCUs, you know, it's like, you kind of got to overlook that. That's kind of a common thing with stuff being incomplete or like kind of torn down a little bit. You got to like,
not to cut you off, brother, but this gentleman said, Big Spell 1, a lot of black folks know the difference between some telling the truth with love and someone doing stuff for clicks. Well, you might, and I commend you for that, Big Spell, but most black folks don't, in my opinion. I think a lot of us are a little bit too sensitive for our own good. I understand that, you know, there's a lot of variables to this. Yeah, maybe not. He maybe didn't do research on the campus, but the fact that you're hiring an NFL Hall of Famer, for one, let me get on this point right here, right now. Let me get on this point, and I'll let you. That is not a football coach. That is not just somebody from out the street. That ain't just somebody from the Third Ward of Houston or South Baton Rouge or from the West Bank of New Orleans. That's one of the greatest athletes in American history. That's an icon in American history.
Absolutely.
That's not just some dude coaching football. him and Deion Sanders are on the same level, regardless of how they got there. Regardless of, they might not be the same person swag-wise, but as far as credential-wise and as far as pull-wise, those are the same person. Those are icons of American history, especially American athletic history. When they hired this man, let me go to this point. Ed Reed deserves the utmost respect. Not just respect. Ed Reed is a black icon, straight up. Ed Reed is a black icon. Ed Reed is a hero to the people who grew up down here. And I think that where it's really coming from, the fact that this campus wasn't, the fact that when they were in the process of hiring him, because there was a hiring process. If you remember, Ed Reed was the defensive backs coach for Miami. There was a hiring process.
Yeah.
The fact that Bethune, and I'm going to call this out, Bethune, I love y'all. I'm going to call this out. The fact that Bethune did not prepare that campus, up to the fact that they hired them, they're not even clean up that campus a little bit, I'm not going to lie to you, Hoop, that's low-key disrespectful. That ain't just somebody they hired off the streets. That's an American icon. That's somebody who, when he gets there, he's going to change a lot of people's lives. He's worth far more than what they're offering him right now.
Of course.
And don't get me wrong, they sold that program to him on two bases: the talent that program consistently produces, and the fact that he can be a benefit to the lives of young black men. Continue. What were you about to say? I'm sorry for cutting you out.
No, that's a big thing. Like, and I think, listen, man, with anything that's going to be like a incubation period, meaning there's not a real standard. So, and what I mean by that is these former NFL guys who come into the HBCU ranks. So as we see, Ed Reed would probably be like the fourth or fifth in that little spectrum. Second, as far as third, we talking about high profile guys. Or if you want to count Hugh Jackson, fourth. But the point I'm making is this is new territory, because guys like Hugh Jackson, like Prime, like Ed Reed, like Eddie George, they've been in situations where you ain't got to worry about little shit like clean up the practice field. You ain't got to worry about the practice field and stuff. Like, you've been in programs where that's not even been on your mind. So what you're seeing is them kind of like, it's almost like a self-correction of the market. Now they're starting to understand, okay, when you come to HBCU, there may be a few things that ain't so pleasant, but can I still work with it? That's what we're going to see come of this new era of exploration. Let me call it that. Because it's only 3 years old. Oh, well, this is year 4, if you want to count 2020. This is year 4 of this era. So it's going to correct itself, in my opinion, bro.
I mean, that's wishful thinking. Big spell 1. Come on, man. A lot of black folks are smart too.
Let me check that. I know he's talking to you, but no, the indictment is not black people being smart. The analysis is of what we tend to see with a lot of predominantly black audiences, that emotionality kind of dominates pragmatism.
Yeah, just a lack of accountability. No one was insinuating anyone lacked cognitive ability. I don't really. If I came off that way, I didn't mean to come off that way, but
yeah, that's
big
fair.
spell 1. I don't, I mean, I guess that's fair, but I don't really know where you're going with that one. But yeah, no, understand this. Yeah, the problem isn't even where the school is located at. We all know most colleges are built in most colleges are built in the hood because it's cheaper to build colleges there. It's not about where the college is, it's about what the college makeup is. It's about the infrastructure. And the thing is, people are going at Ed Reed, and I think that what we need to do is we need to start asking ourselves, like, the reason why a lot of black legends don't come back to the black community is because when they do try to correct the black community from the inside out, they get treated a certain way. So you have to understand who you're dealing with here. You're not dealing with somebody who's just an ex-football coach. You're dealing with somebody who is an icon within really black history. So
yeah, no, you're right, and that brought me back to your point you were saying about this not being a normal dude. And so again, I was on the stream with brother DJ the other day, and the young lady was like, well, so what, the locker room, the coach's office wasn't clean. The AD is actually the basketball coach, and they're in season, and they don't have time to do that. I'm just like, No,
you always
no.
got time. No, you always got time.
Division One football we talking about here.
Yeah, you absolutely right. Man, in Division One basketball, the balls better all have air.
They better have air.
The balls better all have air. That court better be white. That coach's office better. The lockers better all be closed and lined up, and shine to the point you can see my face in them damn lockers. The benches better not stink.
Come on, man.
Them showers better not be crusty, and everybody uniforms ought to be washed. Because the player, right.
So I want to say, well, let me say this, and you're absolutely right with all those things. But at minimum, with a coach gonna go every day for 8-10 hours a day, he gonna at least want that up to snuff. And so to gloss over that, in my opinion, shows me that you don't really know the culture of how coaches think. And again, we're not talking about Joe Schmo off the street. We're talking about the best safety of all times, not named Rod Woodson or what's my man from the Steelers?
Oh yeah, Coach. I'm sorry, my mind went blank. Coach Tomlin. Coach Tomlin. Oh, talking about. My bad. The head coach of the Steelers right now.
No, I was just saying he played for the Steelers back in the game.
Oh, talking about Mr. Swan, yeah.
Lynn Swan. So listen, man. It's just kind of hard to get through to some people who don't understand the gravity of it, in my opinion. And because, listen, man, you bring in a 5-star coach, as far as his knowledge, now, can he convey it to his kids? That's yet to be determined. We don't know that. Of course. But how's the old adage say? Like, Ed Reed steps into a room and he's forgot more football than you know. So, at minimum, that man's locker got to be clean. Like, come on now. What are we talking about? Like, that's head start stuff, and it gets lost in translation with these arguments or these discussions sometimes, when it's like, come on, man, like, if you're applying this to realistic, real human stuff, you gotta take care of it.
The school got hit by a hurricane. Okay, time out. Everybody, let's pause. Come on. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm sorry. I'm a Katrina survivor. Not a participant. I'm a Katrina survivor. Southern University was in Hurricane Katrina. Not putting Southern over any HBCU, because all HBCUs are created equal. Southern's campus was damaged by Katrina. It was fixed a month later by school funding. I'm not trying to compare what Southern went to Bethune, but no, let's not go there. Let's not make excuses. I understand everyone's circumstance is different. Maybe Bethune didn't have the funding to get the infrastructure fixed after the hurricane, but no. Let's not use hurricanes and stuff like that as a now. If the hurricane caused some traumatic damage to the community, and the community is still trying to recover on the basis of emotion, everyone goes through that. But as far as a place of business, no, let's not use that excuse, people. Come on now, don't do that. I'm a Katrina survivor. I've been through quite a few hurricanes. My house flooded. Not trying to put my problems over anybody else's problems, but come on now, people. We gotta be tough. We have to get tougher. We gotta be tough. You gotta be mentally, physically, and spiritually tough. You can't just let circumstance get you down.
Well, I'm gonna say it to you, man. Listen, man. In this world, it's always gonna be perils, man. It's gonna be obstacles in your way. And as we know, as melanated folks, that comes with the job description, right?
I understand.
And one thing I don't do over here, on this side, I know there's a lot of places we can absorb HBCU content. I appreciate those who come here. I really do. So we 27 deep. Y'all hit the like button at least, please. Listen, man. In this world, the world is going to be what it is before you got here, while you're here, and after you leave. Meaning you got to deal with the margins that you're dealt. And so you can make excuses the rest of your life. You can. You really can. It's easy. It's effortless to make excuses. And anybody who plays sports know that. Any coach will tell you, like, easiest thing to do is make an excuse. Because it requires no effort. So once we get past that first little instinct to explain away something, what do you do past that? because I think, just me personally, I hold us melanated black folks to a high standard, man. I think we are naturally talented so much, even with being marginalized. So I'm not gonna say white supremacy doesn't exist. I'm not gonna say certain protocols and programs don't exist to, proliferate.
Of course, we know that. We know this.
I mean, our growth and that. But what I am saying is, you get Africans come over here and they find their own conventions and they work through it. Indians, so on and so forth. Like, in my opinion, nothing intrinsic about them is better than us.
No, absolutely not.
Why lean on excuses? That's all I'm about. That's all I'm saying.
I can't make no excuses, man. When Baltimore was playing with his money, he didn't do that.
Shout out to E Black TV on this.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm praying because I work for a logistics company. I'm an intern logistics company. I work for Fastenal. We send water to that Daytona Beach area all the time. So we send water to y'all's area all the time. So I know I'm praying for y'all every single day. I pray y'all still cleaning up. I mean, hey, I pray for y'all every single day. But as far as the school, now, not the community, I'm talking about the school itself. The school has no excuses. The school should be the main thing running in order to keep the community morale up. Just like when LSU, Southern, and Grambling all went down, even Tulane, all suffering damages, the school, people around the communities made sure the schools were running, and that brought morale up. The community is one thing, but the schools, no, I can't make excuses for the schools. They have the money and resources to get stuff fixed. The problem is, where's the money at, boo?
Yeah, and Dante has a good question, because I don't know this either. How long was that hurricane? Are you familiar with that, Brian?
It happened back in the summertime, early summertime, because like the company I interned for, we've been sending water to Daytona Beach and a place in South Florida I call Deerfield Beach. Deerfield Beach is a little area outside of Miami. It's actually where Jerry Judy's from. I did a little research on it. You know Jerry Judy, the wide receiver, but I've been sending water to the places. So I understand fully what y'all going through. I've been through multiple hurricanes. My house had damaged in one hurricane. So I understand fully what y'all going through. If you remember back in Hurricane Katrina was basically like 2 or 3 hurricanes in one. So Hurricane Katrina was you was in high school when Katrina happened. So
I was in college, bro. I was at Prairie View when Katrina happened.
I'm sure y'all in Houston experienced a little bit of Katrina. So you know exactly what's up. So, and I mean, we lost our home. We not lost our home, but our home got flooded. On top of that, the whole thing in New Orleans, my old hometown in New Orleans, the town was almost no more. So I know exactly what y'all going through. But as far as the university, they have money and resources that the community doesn't have. So that's no excuse. I'm sorry.
Well, I've been flooded out of house before, like Tropical Storm Allison when I was 2001. I was a senior in high school. I got flooded out. I had 3 feet of water in my house before.
Yeah, us too.
I know the struggle. Like, so literally, I remember my Lakers. It was the game after Iverson put Tyronn Lue on the floor, and they took game. I'm like, they took game 1. Game 2, we came back and beat their head in. And that hurricane, that tropical storm happened that night, and my house flooded that night. I remember that. I was 17 years old at the time, so I'm 39. You do the math. So I'm very familiar with how debilitating a hurricane can be as far as your personal life and things of that nature. So. Yeah.
And as this video continues, he's going to say a lot of points that are very important. Please, you can go ahead and continue.
Let's do it. And I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for in the chat. Y'all holding it down. Again, y'all hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, man. Again, so what I try to do on this side of the world, the HBCU spectrum, I'm going to call it down the line because I'm about HBCUs first. I love Swac, in particular, MEAC as well. But I'm not going to sit here and lie on these strings based on what I know. And that's all I got to offer. Let's go.
This is track, bro. This is track. This is what they practice on. It's a straightaway. This is intramural field. You can't practice on this. These kids got this to work with. Trash. Yeah, I'm showing it. At this point, I gotta show it. I'm not even a head coach. Congratulations. Man, I should go my ass home. I said I should. I ain't. It ain't happening.
There it is.
Now I would say that part I don't love so much, but I understand his frustration. I get where it's coming from, but yeah.
Nah, I'm with him. Bethune needs to be upfront with Ed Reed to let him know if they even have the resources to pay him or not. It's just like when you dating, man. If you're dating somebody and you're not able to give them the kind of commitment or the kind of so to speak, if you're not able to give them the kind of not only commitment but the kind of relationship necessities that they need to continue the relationship, be upfront with them. Don't waste their time. If you're dating, if you're a man or you're a woman, if you're dating somebody, don't waste that person's time because it's gonna come back to bite you. What goes around comes around. Do not try to, if you're Bethune-Cookman, the university needs to be upfront with every, let them know if they have the resources or not to pay him and to provide reasonable assets for him to not only compete but also to win. So I mean, he's looking at it right now, and like I said before, they reached out to him. Yes, they did. They reached out to him, and he came back. And what the school should have done was more research into whether or not they can even hire a guy of Ed Reed's caliber, because I'm sure he's not coming there for cheap. I'm sure a lot of resources are being spent to hire Ed Reed.
They better.
This is not just a celebrity. This is an icon. This is one of the sport's greatest players. So I understand, like I said before, I want people to be as respectful to Ed Reed as possible. I don't want people to go on an I hate Ed Reed campaign. It's gonna make the black community look really, 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 really unprofessional. Do not go on a smear campaign for Ed Reed. This is not somebody we need more Ed Reeds, not just in the world of sports. We need more Ed Reed in the world of in the corporate world. We need more Ed Reeds in professional world. We need to respect guys like him and heed his warnings. The whole world is watching, and he's not just trying to shame you. He's trying to tell you to get yourself together, Big Holmes.
I look at it like this, man. People do what the hell they want to do. You want to go on a I hate Ed Reed, diatribe, do it. But you get what you get from it. You get what you get from it. Like, NFL legend come through and he kind of has some critiques about what you said, and you run him off. Oh, okay. So you can't complain if no other one's in line. You get what you get out of it, so you can do what you want to do. I'll never be on these streams telling grown people what to do. But so other than choose to be upset, I say this all the time. I choose to understand. So if you want to go ahead like that, no problem. Just know what comes with that nobody else will be knocking on that door. So it's up to you. It's up to you. Take a little bit of medicine, a little Robitussin on the front end, because it don't sound good to hear him say that. I understand that. But what's the end result? The end result is getting shit done. And in my opinion, the overall message of what he's saying is not incorrect. And I think the chat is kind of locking step with me on that. T Wolf says, no excuse if it was white. You would have it. Well, I don't know if that's quite the case. I know white dude came and coached Alcorn, and we talked about this on another stream.
Don't get me started on that, because I can run that bitch like a screenplay. I can run that bitch in play action. Don't get me started on that. I'll have some of y'all looking at yourselves very crazy if I do. Don't play with me. Jay Hobson came to this bitch, and Alcorn State will damn near erect a statue of his ass. He did the same thing Dion did. Only difference is he didn't have as much fanfare. He did the same exact thing Dion did. 3 up, 3 down, got lost.
Yeah.
And they're calling him the greatest black coach of all time.
Yeah. So when you speak about gentleman came to Alcorn State, it was a big controversy at the time, and he came and won three championships, and he bounced and went to Southern Miss, right?
Now did he bounce? Man, who? You remember how the dude bounced? The bitch. Part of my language, excuse me. That's my lingo.
Go ahead, Rob.
No, the gentleman left in the middle of training camp. He didn't even tell I don't think he told the school goodbye. He left and was the head coach of Southern Miss the next week. Come on, man. Like, go ahead with that shit. At least Dion coached his last game with the players. He did. Jay Hobson left right afterwards. But there's another comment I wanted to look at. Hold on. There's a comment that caught my eye, and that was actually a pretty good point. Big Spell said that Ed Reed did a little too much. He admitted he went a little overboard to social media. Ed Reed shouldn't have apologized. Ed Reed should not have apologized. I don't think there's anything to apologize about. If we can't take criticism, we can't win. Plain and simple.
It's like anything in this world, man. If you can't properly diagnose the problem, then you won't solve it.
No, we can't. No, you gotta be able to. Like the military taught me this. If you can't take getting chewed out, you're not gonna take it. If you can't take getting chewed out, you're not ready for life yet. You're not ready for life yet. You're not ready for. You're not ready for your wife. You're not ready for your wife being pregnant. You're not ready for your kids going through stuff in high school. You're not ready for financial problems. You're not ready for adulting and stuff like that. If you can't take simple criticism about cleaning up your goddamn room like Bethune she needs to, then you're not ready for life. You're not ready to win yet. You're not ready.
Absolutely. And I'll make it even my personal life. My girl challenged me on something, and I ain't gonna make it personal, but
and Big Spell, Big Spell disagree. He ain't gotta say that. He ain't gotta say that. Nick Saban ain't gotta tell people to wash uniforms. People do that for him already. Nah, I disagree with you on that, big brother. I disagree with you on that, bro. Big Spell. Me and you probably sit down and have a beer and watch the game together. Me and you probably cool as hell, but I can disagree with you on that one, big brother.
Yeah,
I disagree with you on that one. Me and you probably cool as hell in real life, but I disagree with you on that one.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying as far as with things that you understand when you are a fan of the HBCU experience, you know there's certain things you gotta look over. You just do. I ain't gonna lie, some used to bother me with like male cheerleaders out there. And that just used to always just like
this be nice. That boy was funny. That boy calling people. Hey, that boy who low-key roasted just now, man. That boy who low-key roasted just now, man. I didn't know you was a roaster like that, man. I didn't know you was a roaster like that, man.
No, because when I was at SFA, you had male cheerleaders, but they were like holding the girls up by their feet, which to me is still kind of lame. But all right,
don't roast them dudes, man. Them dudes probably never mind. I ain't gonna say it on YouTube. I don't want to get flagged.
Yeah, it don't have to be said. But then when I went to prayer, you had some of the male cheerleaders kind of.
We don't gotta say it. We ain't gotta say it. We ain't gotta say it. They was in touch with their feminine side. But anyway,
there you go. Well, but what I'm saying is there's certain things that you know that just more exclusive to the HBCU experience, and you just deal. So having kind of the turf not proper or certain little idiosyncrasies of the program not intact, you kind of condition yourself to overlook it. It's not a big deal because it wasn't to me. It wasn't. But if you want to like really hold me down and ask me what's the difference, I can point out the difference. So I think in these discussions, some people just don't want to keep it funky because it feels like too much of an indictment on what we cherish and what
we don't like to hurt each other's feelings unless we don't like to hurt nobody's feelings unless it's a successful black man. We like to hurt successful black men's feelings, but we like to see them get humbled. We like to see successful black men get hung at the stake because we just think that they're just a little bit too high up on the pedestal of whiteness, so to speak. But no, Adria should not apologize to any mob because at the end of the day, no, this is not just anybody hired off the streets. This is a Hall of Fame football player. And like I said before, and like Big Hoop just called it just now, he shouldn't coach there if BC didn't have their shit together. And I agree. Hey, big spell. Say it, big homie. Now are you right? Let me tell you, but let me come at you from this angle. He wanted to work there because he wanted to make a difference. If BCU knew that their resources are depleted, not only due to environmental causes, but also due to administrative issues, they should have told him we're unavailable. Eat your pride, eat a turd sandwich, and admit that, hey, we love Edry. We know he would do great things, but guess what? Come on with it, like you just said. We don't have the resources to take care of Edry right now. We don't have the resources to give him the kind of coaching experience he would appreciate. Just like what happened with Jackson State. Jackson State had Deion Sanders paying out of pocket for their program like a goddamn AAU like an AAU basketball team where the coach paid for everything. You ever play AAU sports and the coach paid for the uniforms, the games, the referees, coach paying for
Yeah, that's why I don't do AAU or teaching.
Hey bro, I played AAU baseball, man. My coach is the Shout out to Coach Bernhardt, man. That was my dog, man. Coach Bernhardt, nice guy, man. But nah,
Blue Rap God, and I want to address a few things Willie's saying. So all right, so Willie, I'm gonna entertain you a little bit. All right, Deion lost 2 championships. Yes, he did lose the Heritage Bowl, or Celebration Bowl, sorry. This dude done won every bowl not named that. Swac Championship, the Heritage Bowl, the one they played FAMU.
Yeah, that was the Swac MEAC challenge.
Like, come on, what the hell we talking about?
When FAMU was in the when they were in the MEAC, but now they're in the Swac. But yeah, they won the Swac MEAC.
They beat them the first year in the MEAC, and they smoked them this year in the Swac. Mm-hmm. So I find comments like this goofy because I can't name a single other Swac coach who gets judged off of not winning the Celebration Bowl or the MEAC Challenge Bowl. Because I can throw out names like Melvin Spires, I can throw out names like Henry Frazier, so on and so forth. And the evaluation was, did you win the Swac?
So let's talk about Swac coaches who ain't had over 500 records since they've been in the damn conference.
Come on, man.
Eddie Robinson.
Damn, what's Eddie's record?
I can pull it up right now. Eddie Robinson Jr. record. He's not over 500 at all. No, he's not over 500 at all. In fact, Eddie Robinson ain't had a winning record yet. He's had some pretty talented teams.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Alabama State has some very talented teams. He just can't play call. They've had one of the worst offenses in the whole conference. You know, so
he's a respected coach in the Swac, which he deserves it. But let's be for real now. When you want to throw out something like that against Prime, that dude, I mean,
you're not Swac.
Come on, man. Like in the full season, this man ain't lost a Swac competition. Now, if you want to count the COVID year, no problem. They're 3-3, no problem. I'm full with that. Coach Maynard was the king of the COVID year at Alabama A&M. Salute to Coach Maynard. But if you want to try to nitpick and try to take away from success, that's goofy as hell to me. That's goofy.
He is. If I can pull up the record, excuse me, because they don't do a good. Man, he's been the head coach there 2 years. He's gone 6-5 back-to-back years. Stop playing with me.
And let me say this too: white people are damn the worst at putting people's personal business out there, like whistleblowing and putting out stuff like what white people do. This like at the highest clip. Like I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah, I disagree with. Willie Fulgham is very opinionated. I can appreciate his opinion, but nah, that's incorrect. You ever heard of the Kardashians?
Come on, man.
You ever heard of every NFL quarterback ever when they get mad at management? You ever heard of every MLB baseball player ever when they get mad at the front office? So don't get me wrong. Willie Fulgham is very opinionated. I'm sure Willie Fulgham's probably a real funny dude in real life, but no, I can disagree with you on that one.
He good, man. Listen, man. I don't worship celebrities either, man. Listen, man. I'll say this candidly, man. One of the celebrities I met who I really, respect, I still do. But me, LeVar Ball was different than observing him from afar back.
I love LeVar Ball.
I love LeVar, bro. But meeting him and hanging with LeVar, it's like it's his way or the highway. And me, I have a strong personality, and it's kind of hard to blend together. You know what I mean? So the point meaning is, I don't worship celebrities either. I have a really strong affinity for you. I can kind of understand that, okay, well, the way you kind of operate, that's you. Rock out how you rock. It's just, it may not be for me if I'm going to be honest about certain things. So I mean, it's no celebrity worship going on over here, my guy. Ms. Stevens said that was a lie when white folks. Yeah, man, listen, in the media, white folks will. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't even want to make it about black and white people, but if we're gonna be honest, TMZ, white folks driven.
Yeah, TMZ.
Destroy everybody. Like,
man. But the point of we're trying to make is Ed Reed basically poked a very sensitive bear, and that bear is the bear is the non-accountability bear. When that bear wakes up, that bear takes the form of a bunch of angry Twitter fingers, Instagram fingers, black folk who like to go at people whenever they get angry. And I'll be the first person to tell you, as a black man from the urban community, we can be some dicks to each other when we don't like each other. I grew up in South Baton Rouge, and like I said before, my biggest thing is I don't think people understand just what Bethune has with Ed Reed. Regardless of what he does in football, this guy has the kind of knowledge that can help these guys get jobs after football. This guy has the kind of knowledge that can help these guys, regardless if they play professional football or not, become professionals in the world of medicine, professionals in the world of business, professionals in the world, become great fathers, not just dads, but fathers, get married and help the black community. Guys like this are just trying to give you the gist of the real world, because in the real world, if your stuff's not together, you get eaten alive. So what I want black folks to understand is your son needs someone like Ed Reed if he doesn't have a father in the household. Even if you do have a son and you're married, you want coaches like Ed Reed to further along the things you instilled into your child. You want guys like him because he can help you push along the, you know what I'm saying, you becoming a better individual. You want guys like this coaching your kids.
Yeah.
You know,
man, it's intrinsic value that your money ain't paying for, having guys who are committed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Gang and the Ben D, I love, man. Good to see you, Franklin. Willie also says, Miss D. Okay, I'll talk to each other. All right. And listen, man, you don't have to agree with stuff I'm saying, man. I appreciate all commentary, even if you go in a separate situation. Separate direction. That's cool. I'm just gonna say if I agree with your stance or not. Just how you doing the same to me. Like I said, put their business out there publicly. Not necessarily. TMZ does a lot of investigative journalism where they pull stuff out of people. I said, man, I live in LA, bro. It's not quite like that. I see this nigga really good.
And let me get on this subject too. It still pertains to this too. Let me get on this too. On the subject of, and like I said before, I noticed on the HBCU sports blogs, like the Swac sports blog on Instagram, I'm noticing a lot of, and it's not women, it's not black women. I think a lot of black women are just asking questions because they're just curious. I think a lot of black males need to control their tempers. I've seen a lot of black males on Instagram going at Ed Reed reckless. I'm gonna send you the tweets. I've seen a lot of black males talk about they're gonna walk up and slap the shit out of Ed Reed for being disrespectful.
Sure,
and I'm like, go with your mood, little short. But I was like, first of all, some of y'all won't yell back at your wives and girlfriends when she cuss y'all out in public. So what makes you think you're gonna slap 6 foot 220 pounds? And not only just that, if his words can get you this triggered, like I said, you're not ready for life. You know, and I'm just, yeah, I mean, let me tell you something, man. You're a very smart dude, and you're a very insightful guy. If Ed Reed was your head coach and he told you, you're missing too many goddamn shots, either get in the gym or I'm gonna bench you, in front of people, what would your response be?
First, I would be a little bit off-put, but then I would internalize it. Well, shit. Well, let me say this. In the coaching realm, when a coach cares enough to correct you, that's a good sign. When he lets you just go by and put you at the back of the line, you're done. So if I was, a few years in, I would take that as, okay, he mean what he mean. And this is a guy, Ed Reed. So let me get my tail in line.
Not to derail you, talk about Deion Sanders implicated in the welfare fraud. Franklin Kuntz. Let's stay on subject.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that, so I'm gonna speak on what I know. But if you guys,
let's stay on subject. That's
the link, man. I'll make another link about that if that's so. So I mean, I don't. His comment real quick. Rap guy saying, "Why are we concerned about white folks?" No, it's not about a concern of white folks. At least on my part, I'm actually the least with that. I've been in conversations where I live in LA with extremely liberal white folks asking, "What can we do to help black people?" I said, "Nothing. You can do nothing. It's not your job. I don't want your help."
How they ask you? How did it sound when they ask you? I just want
Well, it sounded like I was saying like "F you" to them. That's the way they kind of took it until they kind of just really wrapped their mind around the fact that you're halfway care, which you don't owe the black community anything. You're halfway care, and just to put this in context, this is around like the height of the what shit called the pandemic. We're talking about late 2020, and I was in Huntington Beach with my guy from high school who he married to a white woman, so we was at his house, and they had some friends over, and we just were talking about stuff in general. So they were really floored by the fact that that's how black people generally think, that we don't need your help, because it's like you know, with the things going on in George Floyd and blah, blah, blah. It's like, and I told them, like, man, this is going to pass. So
they don't know 5 black people off the top of their heads personally. So what? Come on, man.
Well, even if they did, I mean, what you gonna do? I was like, you gonna open your checking account to me? You open your checking account, that's how you can help. But if you're not doing that, I don't need your ideas.
They're gonna give you a hug. They're gonna give you a hug.
Yeah, no, I don't need a hug. I'm good. I got enough hugs in my life.
Shit. Let me come live with y'all in Orange County. Yeah, put my kids in modern day high with your kids.
Open your checkbook. It's nothing you can do.
Yeah, let my kids.
Problem, not your burden. So I alleviate you from your white guilt. Just saying. All right, so let me catch up some of these comments, man. It's good because I like the way this is going because I want to hit these topics like straight on.
Continue the video, man. I got off subject. Continue the video, bro. Continue Ed Reed. God damn, the Pelicans got blown out, man. I don't know what's going on. I know it's Zion's out, but we got blown out again, man.
You can go on about your day. We gonna see you upper room. We don't talk about other YouTube creators over here. You were to the upper room, my guy. You're a block from channel. Peace out. All right, so
Kevin Samuels.
You were gone. You're the upper room. Well, because I mean, listen, man, it's gonna be people like this, and they're gonna come in and be contentious. It is what it is. What I like to do over here is, again, I like to deal with pragmatism, things that are likely, things that will happen. And listen, man, you can go through my whole video catalog the last almost 3 years. My takes age well. They do, because I don't think about how I feel about things. I think about what is to come of the things that are actually in front of my face. And I come off of what I've seen as being an active participant in sports for the better part of my life. That's where my opinions come from. It isn't about who I like and dislike. It's just about how I just truly evaluate. So, you got anything before I hit the video again?
Nah, continue, man. There's some very important points Coach Reed brings up.
Let me say this too. What's the obsession with? No, it's just a reference point. So,
NCCU dog 98. Oh Lord, that's what's North Carolina Central mascot? The Eagles. They feeling this. They feeling they damn son. Which they should. They should, man. That was an epic national championship game. They should be feeling themselves.
That's been a long time, man.
Yeah, NC. That's like I said, bro. Forget about black issues besides on HBCUs. Let's talk about on-field results. How is the Swac gonna catch up? A 6-5 NCU team should not be taking the greatest Jackson State team of all time 4 quarters like that, unless we're overlooking something between the Swac and the MEAC. Because in my honest opinion, I think plenty of MEAC schools could have beat Jackson State this year, based on what I've seen NCCU do and other MEAC schools do. Because one of the greatest Swac teams of our lifetime just lost to a average. You can make the argument North Carolina A&T just a couple years ago when they went 14-0, they might have smashed Jackson State, and that team didn't have nearly the name brand players Jackson State has. What NCCU and the MEAC is proving is that the SWAC needs to find themselves on the football field now. That's just my opinion.
No, you're right. I mean, we got to address. I mean, listen. So let's take Bethune-Cookman out of this. From SWAC football standpoint, Coach Prime is not immune to this. We see that trench work ain't what that is. We see that we getting pounded up front.
Thank you. Come on. The MEAC is a better conference in the trenches. They're better on the offensive line. They're bigger on the D. They're bigger on the O line. They're more physical on the D line. They're pounding SWAC schools up the middle. Pause. And on top of that, to me, it looks like excuse me, I'm growing up, y'all. But no, to me, it looks like the MEAC, their trench work is making the SWAC look average. I think SWAC schools with great athletes like Jackson State are rendered helpless against MEAC schools who are even average because they're just so much bigger and stronger on the line of scrimmage. I think that's an issue SWAC schools need to worry about instead of just Black Lives Matter and things of that nature. I think black schools need to. I think HBCUs and the Swac need to worry about how they're going to compete with the MEAC, because even with just 6 schools in the MEAC right now, all 6 of those schools are more liable to win a Swac title than Jackson State, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in a loose fashion, I agree with that. Or in a roundabout fashion, I agree with that. Because, I mean, it's almost like when it comes to us playing in the Celebration Bowl, the Swac is kind of coming to it like with the Emperor with no clothes, which basically is a whole bunch of ballyhoo around your program, but you look and you ain't got the right robes on. So when it came down to it, we getting smoked. Now, we didn't get smoked in the championship game, but as far as from a profile standpoint, Jackson should have wiped it. They should have wiped their tails with North Carolina Central. And it didn't happen. So, so we got to have a hard evaluation with, like, okay, so what's really going on with these programs? Because, I mean, you got an undefeated team go and lose them. So what's really the difference? In the year before, undefeated team goes and loses to Coach Pugh in South Carolina Central. So, I mean, South Carolina State. So what's really going on?
That South Carolina State team was incredible, by the way. That was a heck of a defense. That team was cold with that tall wide receiver. Hey, man, look, that South Carolina State team, and they were monsters on the line of scrimmage.
Oh yeah,
I like watching. I like watching. See, when I like my football, I don't like the spread. I like physical football. I like physical, nasty football. I like seeing people get knocked down. I like seeing teams get down. I like seeing teams be dominant on the line of scrimmage. I don't like all that.
Run game.
I like run game. I like big front sevens. I like seeing linebackers come off the edge and knock the quarterback out. I like seeing big edge rushers. I like seeing big old offensive linemen. That's my football.
That's why I like Savion Wilkerson so much, man. He's so physical, man.
I love Savion Wilkerson too, man.
Agreed. He came from the MEAC. All right, so I'm over here advocating for the MEAC, man. I'm over here tripping, D-Lob. They got me over here tripping, man. Good to see you, bro.
Still Swac first, but I give credit where credit is due.
My guy Willie says Prime can't coach. Well, I don't know it to be so. Prime may not be able to adjust properly to certain other coaches who are better coaches than him. I'll say that, but say he can't coach. I mean, I find it hard to believe being undefeated. Let
me tell you something, Willie Fulgham. Let me tell you something, man. The jury's still out on that, and I'm not gonna at all discredit you for saying that, because the jury is still out on whether or not Coach Prime is a good enough X's and O coach to perform on the highest level. So, I mean, I'm not going to at all act like you're wrong on that point, because I think you have a lot of things to say that need to be said. But I'm going to be real with you, man. Playing in the Pac-12 against Lincoln Riley and all them other coaches, Deion Sanders' football knowledge is going to be tested week in and week out. People on the Division I FBS level, and especially the Power 5 level, have PhDs in football. They're not going to make the mistakes people in the FCS and in the HBCU ranks are going to make. Even the worst Power 5 coaches can coach their asses off. It's just some of them aren't as good as others. So Deion's battle is going to get tested every single week. And he's going to get tested week 1 against Matt Rule in Nebraska. Just putting that out there. Matt Rule can coach his ass off. It's just Matt Rule is just not that great of a pro coach. Matt Rule can coach his ass off. Real talk.
Bro, even at SWAC level, these position coaches can coach their ass off. And I've seen them come through the ranks. I seen Anton Sewell come through the coaching ranks as a straight up assistant, go over to Bowie State and dominate, come over to Morgan State and he went to Alabama State for a short run, and doing the what bowl was it when all the HBCU kids come together, and like he got highlighted for his prowess of coaching.
Yeah, like the All-Star game.
Legacy Bowl, I believe it was called.
Legacy Bowl.
The All-Star game called Legacy Bowl. He went over there and did that, and I saw when he rose up at the ranks. So everybody can coach, man. Now the question is, can you adjust?
Yeah, can you adjust? Hey, say who? Not to cut you off, but I gotta go pick up my little niece. I'll be right back. I gotta go pick up my little niece. She's at dance practice. It's Friday and she didn't text me till. I'll be right back. Keep the link up. This is a really good conversation. I'll give me like 15 minutes. She's just down the street.
All right, bet, man. Go ahead, hang your business, man. I'll let you know if we impart. We're an hour and a half in. All right, so Team Cali stop in. Yeah, so we're talking about Ed Reed and his vibrant comments about his situation at Bethune-Cookman, saying that things are not up to snuff. And I just want to investigate it. So we're just kind of, running through it as pragmatic as we can. I know I'm gonna miss some people there. That's fine. But we're just kind of saying like what it is, man. Let's see. Dante says Prime is running the program and recruiting. He's qualified offensive and defensive coordinator coach. Yes, listen, man. Part of being a good coach is having the right assistants around you. Not always your individual coaching prowess. You know to acquiesce to the right people. So from what I've seen so far, Prime delegates perfectly fine in that capacity. So I don't have any questions just from my vantage. Willie says, just don't mention JSU didn't have 6 starters. Just don't mention JSU didn't have 6 starters. Well, I don't know. Maybe they had some issues going internally, because that can't happen. I remember my senior year playing against, I was starting center, and I got to Jackson State was the best team. They had Trey Johnson, number 2 scorer in America. I didn't get to play because I was late to shoot around. So, I mean, shit like that happens. You never really know. So, I don't know, bro. That's Coach regardless how he tries playing that kind of way. No, so you don't know the idiosyncrasies. Now, if he shows, like, over the years to not be able to understand the situation and drop big games, okay, I'll entertain that. But I do know he dropped 2. He didn't drop the Swac championship game either year. He rolled over the Swac. So I'm not. And then playing against FAMU and Tennessee State, he didn't drop either one of those games either year. So I don't follow your logic. You're just kind of choosing your one game that you want to hold them to, and that's your prerogative. But I don't agree with the assessment. Let's see. Deion said 6 starters in the Celebration Bowl. Yeah, I mean, that's not I'm talking about coaching, but if he's doing it for disciplinary reasons, he did it for. Because you got to understand, man, these kids turn to adults one day. So one thing you learn as a coach, when you start hitting your groove, you don't let kids get away with bullshit. Because when you do, they tend to gravitate towards that when life problems hit them, and they're going to quit. So I don't know, though. I'm talking from the outside looking in. But what I do know, if you sit out that many players, it's because it's a reason, man. But all right, so let me do a little more of this video, and then I'm going to open the panel to Ms. Diva. I saw your comment instead bringing a lady up there. So, you know, I brought you up here before. I don't mind you coming up here and speaking your piece. But let me try to power through this video, and then if Brian comes back, he can hop in. But let's get it.
Because of that lady right there. Because of her right there. Miss Mary, you see her with the cane? Coach Cane. That's what you call him. Coach Cane is who I am. Don't cry. Do something. Y'all see these buildings right here? You see these buildings right here? Y'all see these buildings right here? This corner? Y'all see this right here? This here? This shit is abandoned right here. They're hoarding trash in this shit. All this right here is trash. From this corner all the way right here is trash. You understand me? Man, munch your ass off here, man. What you talking about? I ain't mutt nobody. I'm trying to fix what you doing.
And again, this kind of goes back to what I'm saying about Ed Reed's personality. He's just more stoic, man. He gon' no filter. That's why I put on this on the thumbnail. That's why it says no filter. This is Ed Reed. So again, rather than be upset, I choose to understand people. And this is right on brand for Ed Reed. So that's why I look at it from a less passionate standpoint than other people, because I understand what he's trying to do and I understand why he's saying what he's saying.
I told you somebody ain't gonna like it, bro. I told you somebody wasn't gonna like it. Do something about it, man. Come help us clean.
And D-Lob, again, I don't disagree with you, bro. That's actually what I led in with on this stream. And shout out to Team Cali, man. If you're new, man, hit the subscribe button, man. Again, you can get HBCU content from a lot of places, man. You getting it from a person who actually played and coached at the SWAC level. I know this stuff. Some people gonna give it to you how they interpret it. No problem. Over here, I'm gonna give it to you from an applied knowledge standpoint. That's how I roll over here. So if it ain't your cup of tea, then guess what? It ain't your goddamn cup of tea. I'm just going I'm gonna tell it to you how I know it to be, man. And that's it. Yeah, D-Live says unprofessional. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely unprofessional. I think that he should have had this moment with his homies, and he should have ate this and then came out in a different way. But I understand this is like him experiencing frustration first. I got you, Miss D. I'm gonna drop the link. All right, man. Willie, if you want down that hill, man, down that hill, bro. Willie, yeah, I mean, just let him do his thing. There we go. NC A&T run the same plays the whole time, and Dion being just well, they ain't play against A&T. They play against North Carolina Central, right? We gotta get the teams right first. Come on with it. All right, let's go.
I could have been mutton and showing. I chose not to, but now I'm out here walking with the football team, picking up trash. But I'm mutting us. Man, get out of here.
Hey, you know who he sound like? He sound like old buddy OG Bobby Johnson. When he came back out when he came back as an old man, he started talking slow with the beard and shit. That's who he sound like right now. He sound like OG Bobby Johnson. Kind of look like
I should leave. I'm not even under contract doing this. I'm mutting us? Man, get out of here, man. They mutt me. These motherfuckers ain't even clean my goddamn office when I got here. I'm mutting y'all? Get your ass, man. Come on, man. All this shit here was trash in front of me. Who you think got this shit cleared out?
Listen, man. Don't want your head coach out there telling you that trash. Look again, man. For y'all who don't know the protocol and culture of harboring a Division I coach, no coach wants to clean up no goddamn trash. I know some of y'all say, it ain't a big deal. You don't know what's going on. Listen, certain things should be in place for the head coach taking care. All I know.
That building right there got trash in it. It's trash. What are you talking about? Need no goddamn donors to come out and help out because people just want money. That's why I don't fuck with social network. Fuck out of here, man.
All right, so we got to see Ed Reed go off. And again, I understand where his frustration's coming from. I do. I think he could have handled it a lot better, but I mean, what's done is done. So my job from this point is to unpack what's been said. That's my job from this point going forward. All right, so Ms. Dennis, give me a minute. Actually keeping score at the D-ball game. I'm here almost over. Okay, let me know. Don't want the coach cutting grass either. Yeah, exactly. I want my coach spending all the time physically possible in the lab, coming up with game plans, watching film, breaking film down, having your board together of your potential depth chart, things of that nature. To be spending time cleaning your area up and stuff like that, man, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. So I hope Bethune gets it right. I hope Ed gets under contract. He says he's not under contract. I hope all these things come together because, ladies and gentlemen, it's Division I football. It's Division I football. We gotta have these things on point. Because there's not a lot of places in the world that call themselves Division I where you're off when you come in to take a new job. Come on, man. You can hop on Craigslist, pay somebody $40 to clean that office out, man. Come on, HBCU, man. We got to do better. I'm coming to the game also. So, okay. Yeah, again, we're an hour and 30 in, so let me drop the link. So if anybody in the listening audience wants to come on, say, who you tripping? Who you missed that? Who you missed this? Come on up here and let me know. I shouldn't have blocked old buddy. I should let him come up here. Ed Reed gave it to us real and raw. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Listen, man. I don't need everything to be window dressed for me. Me personally. You can just tell me how you feel, and I may feel some way about it, but I'm going to internalize it. I'm going to compartmentalize it, and then I'm going to adjust. That's what people do. And the fact that people are being so dumbfounded by this, what Ed Reed has been saying, it either tells me, A, you're not used to being in those situations as far as being, in the foxhole in Division I program, or B, you're so caught up in the pro-black aspect that you think that no black institution can be challenged, even if by a fellow black person. It's one of those two from my view. Now, if I'm missing the mark, somebody let me know. But I only saying it as a proud Swac graduate, proud ex-basketball player. You see the school. So I got no agenda as far as being negative. I'm just calling it how I know it to be. Just saying. So as we wait for Brian, Miss Diva to hop on, I see everybody's still listening. So you tell me, man. So going forward, what is Bethune-Cookman to do with this situation? Because they don't have him under contract, which I find that to be pretty ridiculous. What should Bethune do to rectify it? Do they hire more staff? Do they move to get rid of Ed? You look for another candidate? Like, because I don't understand. Because some people saying, don't bring him in, don't bring him in. I'm like, again, as Brian crystallized earlier, if you guys didn't catch the first part of the show, Ed Reed is the best, one of the best at his position. He just happened to be a little more just no filter than Prime. Prime is more of a finesse guy. But something interesting he said is like, y'all lied to me. Meaning, so the same thing that people, were saying that Coach Prime did, like, oh, well, he lied to Jackson and the fans talking about this. Listen, man, it's called posturing, man. Everybody does it. Schools do it. People do it. Players do it. When you say, yeah, coach, I want to come play for you, the first thing to go wrong, you out of there. Oh, coach, man, coach a whole ass nigga. I'm only telling you stuff I know and I've seen and I've done. So the non-loyalty goes all the way around. Everybody. So I just find it funny that people were so reticent to dogpile on Prime when, like, it's a lot of misleading going around all the way around, from the players to the coaches to the institution to the president to the AD. This, that, and third, man. You just gotta navigate. You gotta navigate the weeds, man. You gotta navigate the weeds. And so I hate to see casualties because, I mean, listen, man, if I had it my way, everybody would be on the same page. We wouldn't have no issues. And then stuff would just run smoothly. Reality is that's not how it goes. And shout out to Miss Diva that popped up on here. Miss Diva, what you got? All right, Miss Diva might be working the kinks out. All right, so when she'll hop on, I'm sure she'll be ready to hop on. But my whole thing is, listen, man, instead of be mad, I choose to understand. What I understand is the motivations. I understand the principles behind why guys say and do what they do. It's a cat and mouse game, man. It's a whole bunch of posturing goes on. It's a lot of people just trying to preserve a job. It's just a lot of inner workings. It's a lot of baked cake that is the HBCU experience. So I just choose to worry about improving things that we can improve and working forward to putting a better product on the field and on the court. That's all I care about over here. That's all I care about. I don't care about the views are cool and all that. For me, bro, I want to put the Swac on, man. I want to talk objectively about what's going on. And then what's going on with the Ed Reed situation. It's just funny to see the pushback and the reasoning behind it when there's a lot of stuff, in my opinion, institutionally, we can control ourselves. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a couple of observations. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Like I said, I'm actually keeping score. I'm actually keeping score at home.
Hold up, multitasking.
What'd you say?
I said, I see you multitasking.
Yeah, I got 3, 4, 12 devices going right here. I don't know how. I just had knee surgery, so I kind of hurt it. So I couldn't get out to the game, but I still got to keep score for these kids. These are some of the craziest observations that I have observed. And like I said, I attend the PWI. I don't know why people have this crazy notion that, oh, they don't do this at the PWIs. Oh, they don't do this. They cut up worse at the PWI. I went to an all-white school. I work at an all-white school, and I also attend an all-white school. And if these people seem to think that, oh, the white coaches and the white staff is so pristine, you got a sad thing coming. Baby, they cut up 10 times worse than the black people do. Extremely worse than the black people do. I'm in several groups on Facebook. because like I said, I have an array of friends, white, black. I mean, ain't no gender in God. They cuts are bad. So that's the one thing I'm having a hard time understanding. Everybody seem to think, Ed Reed is unprofessional and he wouldn't do this at the white folks school. He would, child, please, they do it worse at the white folks school. Yes, they do. That's the one thing. Number two, I just believe, listen to the man. He sit here and said, they said. So that right there, in my opinion, told me, okay, they must have promised the man something and didn't come through with it.
Oh, absolutely.
But you know, and okay, this game over with. My thing is, yes, it was two hurricanes. But how long ago was those hurricanes? A lot of that debris and stuff like that looked like that stuff had been sitting there for a while. So I'm just not understanding what I mean. People hollering about he ain't on contract and he ain't on this and he ain't took the job. It's just like, I'm not understanding their minds. A lot of these people mindsets on this stuff. I'm not. You gonna offer me a job and then you gonna offer me, just like you come to me and say, hey, I'm gonna give you this house to live in, but you didn't tell me I gotta clean it up. It's like, come on, dude. Help me understand it, because like I said, I'm a woman. You know, I might not see it from a man's point of view. Like that man that was the man that was on the panel with you. Like he said, these men are way more emotional than some of these women are. And it's like, really? So Can you help me, coming from a man's point of view, can you help me understand? Because and before anybody say anything, and yes, I do attend the PWI, but both of my children, my son and my daughter, attend the same HBCU. I just chose to go back to the PWI I attended back when I started school back in 91. That's the only reason why I'm there, because it's in me. I got to finish where I started. Then I plan on going to a HBCU to continue with my graduate degree.
Okay.
So a lot of you don't even attend a HBCU. No, but my babies do. So that means I do.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. What question you had directly for me again?
It's just, what is everybody expecting? I'm like, look, it's like, this is the thing. I like I said, I'm listening to people complain. I'm listening to us complain about the poor infrastructure, financial aid not coming, the mold in the dorm. I'm listening to us complain about it. And then when Dion or Ed Reed, they come in and say the same thing that we say, now y'all mad. And it's like, huh? Well, can somebody make it make sense to me? They just came in and repeat the same thing that y'all been saying. So what are y'all mad about?
I'll tell you why. It's embarrassing when it comes from a prominent person.
Why?
Pride. Because you know what? One of the hardest things was for me to admit that some of the not so great things that HBCUs offer, when I get into arguments with PWI alumni friends that I have, or frat brothers that I have, even though I started at PWI.
Right.
Because what happens is there's some things that you want to sweep on the rug to not look bad in an argument, or in just from a self-evaluation standpoint, that when let me put it this way, they're like pain points. They're pain points about, damn, your field ain't swept up, and your grass ain't cut, and the office ain't clean. Because we know intrinsically that's some bullshit. That should be done off rip. That's like when you comparing a house to your homeboy house, and you start looking at the house, room dirty as hell. It's like the kitchen dirty as hell. Like, man, what we talking about? So some people don't like that pain point being pushed, and so they'll gloss over it. And not only that, in my opinion, go so hard to try to over congratulate other things, so it's not like a talking point anymore about that blemish. So I think that's what we're seeing, because to your point, we're seeing a lot of dishonest conversation. And when people say that, the AD don't have to clean the office for a freaking 5-star head coach, what Ed Reed is, That's just madness. It just shows the disconnect of reality. In my opinion.
You know what? My thing is, whether it's a 5-star, 2-star, or hell, it could have been a bomb on the corner. I mean, right is right. If you're offering a person a job, you could at least. I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, you know, that's just common sense. You know, the last person. Not saying everybody's like this, but you should already know. Okay, the last person ain't gonna leave it clean. So you mean to tell me y'all didn't bother to go in there and check? I mean, ain't nobody telling you go get a bottle of Pine Sol and Five Below store and air freshener and spritz it up. But I mean, at least make it look presentable. Yeah. At least the office, if you don't do anything, at least make it look. Don't give them a reason to. I mean, everybody got mad at Prime, but hell, are y'all not proving Prime's point? That's number one. And number two, are y'all taking the backlash out on Ed Reed that y'all had for Prime? Because y'all know Prime just didn't give a damn, and he was on the plane before the ink was dry on the championship. I mean, you know, that's what it's like. Are y'all taking y'all anger out on Ed Reed? The anger that y'all had for Prime? It's like I said, maybe it's me. I'm just lost and confused about all this.
That's a good point. So this could be some residual angst that you have for Prime that you just kind of rolling on Ed Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fair question.
Because, I mean, just keep it real. Like I said, did y'all not think that Ed Reed was not going to speak with Prime? I'm like, come on. They might not have played on the same team, but hell, they're NFL buddies.
They played together for the Ravens.
Yeah, I thought I was going to say that, but I mean, I couldn't remember. Was he still on there? But I'm like, didn't he play for the Ravens? But I mean, that's just me. Number 3, 4, 5, 10. Did you get a chance to listen to Luke's interview that he did?
No, I saw him come around. I didn't know what Luke said, but I saw he was around the program.
He did an interview with some young men. I just happened to stumble on it, and I mean, a lot of people are mad about that. And it's like, okay, are y'all not listening to what this man say? Everybody making comments about Luke this and Luke that, and I'm like, are y'all not listening? The man is telling you he knows a whole lot of stuff. He was dropping some serious gems in there, and it's like, are y'all still mad at Prime that y'all can't see or hear nothing? So like I said, I believe a lot of this. I believe a lot of this is, like you said, residual anger that's left over from Prime, and they just taking it out on Ed Reed.
That sound about right. And shout out to Vail. Good to see you, Vail, in the building. Shout out to Justin as well. Said folks expect these coaches stay at these HBCUs, don't know and take pride in their own. That's what I'm saying, man. Listen, guys, I'm always gonna be the clean your own backyard first guy. Clean your own backyard.
You know what? I'm a country girl, and I'm gonna tell you what my grandma used to tell me all the time. Baby, you smell you before anybody else smell you. You can take that same analogy. I mean, you knew your damn house was tore up before you invited that man in there. Let's just keep that real. Y'all knew how that stuff was looking before y'all brought that man in there. Y'all, everybody from white to black people have sit back. Somebody just said, was that you just said that brought up the Kardashians? Just like the Kardashians, everybody's eyes be on them, just expecting them to do something outlandish or one on the date some black man. We looking. So we all witnessed this mess with Prime. Okay, here come another celebrity in. Was y'all not expect? I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just lost and bewildered by this stuff. It's like, y'all are doing it to yourself. Come on, Bethune.
Yeah.
Come on, Bethune.
That's easy. That's easily fixable stuff from my view. So
you could have went and got some of them high school kids and said, hey, look, I tell you what, hey, y'all come over here. I tell you what, we'll give you 80 hours of, volunteer service or something to put on your high school transcript. Because, that stuff goes with you. You could have did, we give you free tickets to 2-3 games. I mean, y'all could have did. They could have did something. If they didn't have money to do the groundskeepers, if all the groundskeepers were hidden out like they normally do at these schools, don't do no damn work, you could have went got some of these things. I mean, come on. I've been working for the school system I went in the school system 4 months after I had my daughter, and like I said, them groundskeepers don't do a goddamn thing. Cafeteria workers don't do nothing but sit back there and smoke and gossip. Come on now, we know how it goes.
Y'all seem to be lazy as hell.
You know it. You already know how it works. I'm just saying, you know, wait a minute, hold on. I am upset about DC not having a press conference. Yeah. I mean, but look how long it took UAPB to have a press conference. That man been there for a couple of months also. I mean, we so focused on a press conference. Yes, I know what y'all want. What y'all want? Do y'all really want a press conference, or do you want to throw shots at the man? Well, why you get up here and say this, and why you get up there and say that? That man ain't said nothing no different than what y'all done said. He just had a microphone and y'all did. Am I wrong for saying? Am I wrong? Who?
You ain't wrong. And again, that's why it kind of just, it floors me when these conversations get said. And it's like it's taboo conversation, but it's like I always say this is the worst kept secret about stuff like that. It's the worst kept secret. We know this already.
But is it a secret? That's the thing. Is it a secret?
Only in public talk it is. Like I said, it's the worst kept secret. So everybody says it, but you can't say it from a public platform. Oh, you hating on it. No, but everybody says it. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Because, man, listen, man. If I got $1 every time, you know, me being an undergrad, I heard another student say, man, it's some bullshit. Talking about how the university was doing stuff. I'll be a rich man.
But I'm now like I said, both of my babies, they tend to say they attend UAPB. Mm-hmm. Both of them. My son should be coming out in a minute. Should be. And my daughter, she just started, and she's on a band scholarship. And okay. I found it to be oh God, it is amazing how HBCUs like drag out the education. Saying when I'm saying that is like I had to hurry up and register her for school. She pretty much had to take 8 classes just to get 13 hours. Cause like 5 of her classes 1 credit classes, and I'm like, where do they do that at? I'm at a PWI and 1 class is 3 credits. Is that normal for HBCUs? I'm still learning. I'm learning. I didn't do it for my son. I'm doing it for her though. Is that normal that stuff is dragged out like that? Number 2, with financial aid, I hear people complain about that. Financial aid normally come out the 11th day of official enrollment. Why does it linger at HBCUs? I'm not understanding that.
Good question.
And I'm not being facetious when I ask this question, because like I said, I'm in college, and like we get ours, and we used to get it the 3rd day of school.
You ain't gotta complain. I'm going to do the same thing right now. You know, it's just an infrastructural problem, but you know, God is good. But hey, I wanted to tap back in because I wanted to tell y'all, put my little niece and nephew to sleep. Hey, y'all keep this conversation going, keep it clean, keep it fun. Most importantly, keep it positive, man. I just want to tell y'all, God bless and good night.
Man, appreciate you, Brian. Appreciate you, bro. Handle business, man.
You dropped some gems tonight, Brian. You did, because it's like, I mean, it's at this point, it's like either they gonna go. To me, seem like to me, and I could be wrong. Seem like a lot of these old NFL players have gotten sick and tired of sitting at home playing golf and getting fat, and they want to get back into the sport.
It's not just that, man. A lot of these guys are from the hood. They're from the same hood these young guys are from, and they just want to help these guys because they know it's already an uphill battle to get to the NFL from an HBCU because they're small schools. And not only just that, these guys understand there's life after football. They want these young men to be great athletes and greater people. They want these guys to be set up to where even after football, they know how to be productive citizens. But you know, the biggest thing is, man, black folks, let's learn how to love each other, man. I don't think we love each other enough. I think we have a lot of contempt for each other, and not just that. We can look at each other through the eyes of white supremacy.
Hey, there you go, man. And I think, listen, man, because I see even through the faction of these HBCU streams, you know, they be clicked up and all that stuff, man. Whatever, man. All I know is it's a good thing that people care enough to talk about this stuff, and I take it as the win as that. But yeah, man, we should definitely work on getting more on code and things of that nature. But I mean, that comes down the line. You know, I'm not a dreamer in that capacity, but you absolutely have that notion.
I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. God bless y'all, Miss Diva. Thank you for the positivity. I'll see you on the next trip. I'll meet you up on the stream over, bro.
All right, yeah, hit me up, bro.
All right.
Peace, man.
Well, I'm gonna say this, my opinion, and I'm just sitting. I was actually discussing this today with my coworker about the stuff that's going on at BCU, and I was like, you know, Okay, at this point, the cat is out the bag. What can be done to, I'm not going to say rectify the situation, but what can be done at this point in time now to, I guess, clean up, the right word, clean up the situation? I mean, should old alum or maybe the people in the community around the school, should they just come together and say, okay, screw it, let's get up here, let's get the campus together, let's go on and start positive now? Or are they just going to sit and wait for this press conference and let all this anger stew and fester in them? And the minute Ed Reed get on the mic, everybody going to throw daggers and shots at him?
I think the best thing is to sit down with him and have a real plan about what you plan to do to help the situation out. Because at that point, you know, you done got punched in the mouth if you're Bethune-Cookman University, so, you know, he can expose you a little bit. But he said he's still committed. So at the end of the day, you're getting a 5-star candidate to be a head coach for your program when your program stinks. So if it were me, I would try to take the emotionality out as much as I possibly could, because, I mean, he did say some, you know, I think he could have went about that better. But you sit down with him, you give him the plan of what you're trying to do, and you just implement it. I think Ed Reed is not a unreasonable person. I think if you sat down and be like, all right, listen, okay, I know this had place and this is what we meant. I know we saw this, blah, 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 blah. Just address the issues head on. I think it's salvageable, to be honest. I mean, ain't nobody clamoring for this position to coach Bethune-Cookman, we're being honest. They won, like, what, 2 games last year? So, I mean, you know, I think it's salvageable. You just got to be very, very, very tactful about how you go about it from this point going forward. Just be very direct. Way out.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would it be out of, and these are just, like I said, me and my coworker was just throwing stuff back and forth at each other. Okay, you have Bethune-Cookman, and then you just talking about Florida, you have FAMU. Would it be like out of the norm for other HBCUs to like come in and say, okay, hey, we know y'all was hit by 2 hurricanes and it's a shit show over here. Do other HBCUs extend the hand and come over and help? Hey, we gonna come and help and assist? Or are they just gonna sit back and just watch and wait?
I haven't seen a lot of that even being extended, so I would say no. Now this is me speaking out of a tad bit of ignorance. I don't know if everybody's in a position to even help somebody out. But I know our institutions aren't in shambles either. I just wonder what does actual help look like as far as monetary disbursement or what have you. I've never seen no chatter around that, so I don't anticipate that to be a practice that we'll see. Except like Prime, we're talking about helping out Alcorn like 2 years ago. They didn't have enough managers, trainers, or something to that effect. That's the only time I've ever seen another coach reach out to help another school or another school help another school.
But did that actually go through? Because, I mean, I hear some people saying yeah, some they say they didn't, and it's like, it's hard to tell what's true and false because there's so much stuff out there.
That's a great point. And I can't call it like the old school say. I can't call it. I think this is a good question. Y'all think Lovie Smith about to be the next coach at HBCU for Texas 5? I don't know. I mean, that would put him more in that Hugh Jackson category of an older black dude who's kind of, you know, he's been bouncing around the league now. You don't really have a place there anymore unless he could be a position coach. So I would like to see it. I think everybody's sold up for this year, so I don't see it happening no time soon. You got any insight on that one, Ms. Diva?
I ain't gonna say Lovie Smith needs to take it to the house. Lovie Smith might need to get somewhere and do like my coach. Oh my God, what's his name? Now that's my coach, and I didn't forgot his name that quick. Indianapolis coach, Dungy. He might need to get like Dungy and get somewhere and sit down. Because, I mean, sometimes you just need to let it go and let the younger folks come on in because they understand this generation a little bit better than what you do.
I give you another name who need to go sit down. Herm Edwards. He thought he could go back to coach at Arizona State. It didn't work out so great, and now he's sitting down somewhere, man. Sometimes it's just age. It's time, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's my opinion. I think that is a lot of the problem. I mean, I can understand Prime mentality about it when he said he'll never coach NFL because he can't deal with a bunch of high priced babies. I can understand that they don't play football, like on your level like y'all did. So I can understand them not wanting to coach NFL, and then I can understand them wanting to come and help the young black men in the college to advance. The old heads, my opinion, and I don't want to see nobody go, but y'all need to sit down. Your time has come and gone. Pass the torch on. Y'all just holding it and the light just flickering. I mean, be honest with you, need to be that. I mean, for real, need to be that way with some of the band directors. I ain't gonna talk about nobody but UAPB. But anyway, I mean, pass the torch on. I mean, it took me a minute to understand that. I'm older with a younger child, and it took me to change to understand in my mindset. Okay, this is not the day of your time. You cannot parent it from that time because these kids don't understand that. They got a lot of bravado about them, and a lot of these old coaches are still coaching from their time, and a lot of these kids don't understand. I mean, my opinion, prime example, look at Southern. That was just straight foolishness. Straight foolishness when your quarterback been sitting on the bench all 12 games. But I mean, these old heads need to move out the way and let some younger ones get in here that can relate to these kids. Because they're not relating to these kids. There's a lot of talent out here on the HBCU, but it's like they're not relating to you. And you know how kids is when they get stubborn, they just shut down.
Yeah, because in this era, and they'll tell you with studies, this is like one of the worst communicating group of kids like ever, because it's like they don't want to be around people, but they don't want to be alone either, and they don't know how to. You know how like the old school say, man, if you want to talk to a girl, pick the phone up and call her. That don't mean nothing to them. Like they about texting, quick access, easy access, and from human contact. So I'm in sales. Like they teach us, you got a younger person, you got to be more amenable to using like technology to close them and to explain things to them, because that's what they're used to evaluating things. And like older people, everything's personable. Everything's about human interaction and things of that nature. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And those things trickle down to coaching as well. And what you're seeing is a bevy of young coaches who should get the reins. Like you said, like one being my guy, Anton Sewell. I mean, he's only like 43. That's young in coach world. I want to see him get one of those shots now instead of just, older guys, man. And no disrespect to Lovie Smith. I think he's been a great coach, great fixture in the NFL for a long time. But I wouldn't mind some of the younger guys getting an opportunity.
Yeah, the older men. Look, it's time for you to pour your wisdom into somebody young. You just holding up spots, and you're not getting nowhere. You're going up against the grain. I mean, like I said, it is my opinion, but like I said, I just look at stuff totally just looking at it from a different angle. I'm not gonna say people like HBCU ain't gonna never change. I mean, they'll change if you want them to change.
Yeah. You gotta force it, man. Change comes from within, and then let's bring it all the way back to where we started. You can blame things like white supremacy. You can blame lack of funding. You can blame any external force. But what can you do based on what the resources you have? That's gonna be
white folks over there. They look here. Like I said, I just don't understand. I've been reading and listening to videos, and all I hear is they don't do that to white folks. I'm like, y'all just don't realize them damn white folks struggling just like y'all. Y'all are just not sitting in the same crowd and sitting in the same groups to hear them complaining and stuff. They go through the same fuck shit, if not worse.
That's that tree in the woods theory. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Meaning,
yeah, and the thing with them, and I know somebody was like, why is it about PWIs? Because everybody want to keep bringing the PWIs. It's worse with the PWIs because you got all them damn white folks that's pouring in money and expecting you to win football games and you ain't doing nothing. It's worse when you got money and you ain't winning versus being broke and you ain't winning. Shit.
Yep.
Trust me, honey. Like I said, honey, that it ain't free. I'm here in Arkansas, honey. Trust me. They also, I ain't gonna say guaranteed him that job, but them investors wasn't going. He primed too flashy for these folks here in Arkansas. Now they rethinking it, but he's a little bit too flamboyant for him. That's why he gonna get that job here. But I mean, they cut up work. I don't understand why they want to compare PWIs to the HBCUs. They cut up way worse than PWIs. Way worse. Them white coaches out there cutting them kids out left and right.
Yeah.
Only thing they ain't doing is calling them ends, but they might as well call them ends the way they cuss them out.
Hey, my first college experience was from a guy who just recently got fired named Danny Casper. He's coaching at Texas State. He was my coach at Stephen F. Austin. And he got accused of some racial stuff. Me personally, I got to meet him actually for my guy Between the Game Sports. He had a ceremony a few months ago. So I got to see, because we both played for the same coach at different times. And I got to see him and talk to him again. I don't get that from him, but the way he is, he's old school white dude. That can be interpreted different ways. So like you were just saying, maybe a little colorful language can be interpreted as racist.
I'm going to tell you something. My boss used to be a coach. He was a coach for 20 years. Now he moved from coaching. Now he's athletic director in another job. That coaching is so ingrained in him that he speaks to us. He talks to us. When I say us, my coworkers, he talks to us like he talking to the kids out there on that field. Because I know once we kind of had, well, I ain't gonna say we kind of had it out. We had it out, and I had Lord, we had it out. I promise you, wasn't nobody but the Lord, because I grabbed hold of that chair and I was bust that man upside the head with the chair. I'm like, hold on, baby. I'm not one of them kids on that field, baby. I put on my pants one leg at a time like you. You need to bring that down. I understand this coaching is ingrained in you, but you better take it somewhere else. So I'm saying, I'm like, these folks don't understand. These white folks, the white coaches are hell. I mean, like I said, I was in band when I'm old. I'm not that old, but I was in band. And back in our day here in the country, the band members practiced right there on the same field that the football players practiced. We were side by side. And when I tell you, the band director was harder than the coach, but hell, them damn coaches were hard on them damn boys. And the hell out there running and throwing up, and you get done throwing up, you better get out there and run, and you throwing, you MF and every damn thing else, and you better not go home and tell your mama about it.
Absolutely.
I'm like, shoot, y'all babying these kids. I mean, anyhow, that's why I said I'm a female, and you said you play football, so my interpretations of football might be totally different than yours, but I mean, this is football. What more do they expect?
Division I sports in total are hard sports to play, and it's every much bit as hard as it sounds, and that's just how it is. And Val was saying at the PWIG, death threats and stuff, and they be dead serious. Like you don't really get that on our side. It's more like you need to get fired. Like the HBCU.
Yeah, shoot, they done put them investors and invested all that money, poured all that money into them schools, because it's like people fail to realize it's like, okay, the coach is a state employee. They capped out at maybe $300,000, maybe depending on the state you in.
At best.
So all these fancy facilities that they working in, and all these jet Lears and cars, I'm like, where do y'all think this money is coming from? It's coming from the rich white folks that's investing because they want Auburn to be champion, or they want Arkansas to be champion, or Nebraska to be champion. So just imagine you pouring in money and you on a losing team. You think they in there, come on now, let's turn to Psalms 93. Hell no, they in there cussing out the Bible or the devil. They cussing them damn kids out. It's worse being at a school with money than it is without.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just so many of those, like those war stories that go on in between the trenches, and the reality is most people just not privy to them. So you only gonna speak on what you know, and some people just never been privy to see that. Me personally, I've seen I've seen the good, bad, and ugly in all facets of college sports and college activities and things of that nature. So again, I'm just only speaking what I know. I don't try to be on here trying to be Mr. Know-It-All, but I'm saying what I know. And I routinely call my college friends and professors. I'm like, man, am I off base with this opinion? And they'll tell me, against the updated version of stuff. I know I'm not off base. I mean, it is what it is.
Do you think that? And I'm just asking this because, like I said, I watch a lot of this stuff. I love my sports, and my baby's in the sports. Do you think it's gonna start being an influx of old players becoming coaches? Because I heard somebody, just different videos, they was like, Ray Lewis wanted to coach, what's the other dude from Baltimore? The one that got to fighting with his wife on the elevator.
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice wanted to coach. Lord, the other crazy one with all the damn kids. Oh God. I can't think of none of these damn folks now. Colin Kaepernick. Oh,
Rogers Cromartie.
No, he used to be. Oh shoot, he got a YouTube channel where all them crazy clothes and
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton, yeah. Thank you. That's why I said everybody just slipped in my mind. They was like, he might want to coach and just a different. Do you think it's gonna be like an influx of all these old players wanting to come and coach?
I hope so. Before I do that, let me answer Justin's question. Said UT job. Yeah. UT, I'm a UT fan. It's hard as hell to catch. I mean, to keep a damn coach over there in that program with all the moving parts. Absolutely. Bell says, great show. Miss Diva's a gym. My homie. Appreciate you, Bell. And D Live says, good luck, Ray Rice. Yeah. Ray Rice, hey, he died on the sword that is for domestic violence, man. He's a dumb butt.
But I thought but he's still coaching, right? Isn't he coaching like his son's school or something?
Look it up.
I thought Ray Rice was still coaching. He was just coaching at a high school. I think that in my fault. I still think I thought it was BS then. I think it's BS now.
I do too.
I mean,
I'm gonna tell you why I think it's BS. Listen, when you're in mutual combat, man, what happens? You don't put hands on people. Now, I'm not saying I advocate putting hands on women, because I know it's men who are strong. But what I am saying is, in the heat of the moment, you put hands on somebody, you can't control how them hands come back at you. And most men understand that amongst men. So how that blew up was so crazy. I know he went and married her, and it just looked, the optics were horrible. And the NFL was in a bad stead already. Yeah, I understand why things happen, but then you got this kicker white dude who beat up on his black woman. Actually, was his girl. Got very little smoke for what he did, and so Ray Lewis just got caught the wrong time, in my opinion.
And you know what? And honestly, I when that happened, I'm like, it's got to be something that's more than that. That man was asking for a whole lot of money, because I'm not understanding that. I mean, I'm a woman, and I'm like this. No, I mean, yes, a man is more powerful than a woman, but when you step out of your lane or you step out of your square and you stand toe to toe with a man, then you take yourself out of woman position and you put yourself in the man position. Don't put yourself in I'm not saying it's right, but
it's not smart. It's just that you don't do that, man. And so, yeah, I don't want to go too far down that road, because I mean, I'm very cut and dry with that, but I don't want to make a scream about that. But absolutely, I saw that Ray Rice was doing. He was coaching 2017. I don't know if that's current. But in 2017, he was coaching at his old high school.
Yeah, I thought he was still like coaching high school. That's why I was like, out there.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead, Mr. I'm sorry.
They were bringing up, what I was saying, when they was bringing up all these names, I'm like, okay, I guess it's all the ex-NFL players are trying to come and coach HBCUs, which would be good. I mean, I think that would be good.
Oh, with him.
Does Mississippi Valley have a coach, or are they still searching for one?
I haven't seen an announcement for that. Go to the good old Googles.
I guess they go, when it comes to coaching in HBCU, they're going to have to go back to the old school. You know, them teachers wasn't getting paid. They was doing it for the love of it. I mean,
that's facts.
I mean, it can be done. I mean, oh, D-Love said they do have a coach. Okay.
Yeah, Kendrick Wade is their new coach. He was a former standout player for Valley. Good for them. Good for Valley.
Okay. Like I said, I still think a lot of these old heads need to go on and sit on down somewhere and let the younger ones come in and take the reins and let them see what they're going to do.
I'm with that, man. I want the young guys to get opportunities, new ideas. I think, and a lot of people don't like. It's funny how like the last 2 months the paradigm shift from like people who love and supported Coach Prime, and now they just kind of upset. But what Prime did was led that blueprint. Somebody said, ain't no blueprint. Like, yes, it is. The way he implemented social media into his recruiting, like walking the sidelines with his Twitter tag on back of his shirt, he set a new example, and younger coaches are more amenable to that. Even though Prime's an older guy, being, 50-something.
When I said, when you old, and when you all having kids, because like I said, I just turned 50 and I got an 18-year-old, so I had to change my mindset. And what he 50, he 55. I ain't gonna say they 18, but they close to the same thing. You got to jump in with the time. He did. I mean,
absolutely.
If these people ever get out their feelings, and even with that, I had jumped into my feelings with crime, but I had to step out of my feelings and say, okay, no, this was stepping stone anyway. His main goal was SEC. If they can ever get out their feelings, they might can see how, like they said, the blueprint or open up the doors or whatever they want to take from it. But being angry about it, that man gone on about his business, and these folks over here still mad about this. And it's like, okay, ain't y'all tired yet?
Well, listen, man, because in reality, Colorado's a stepping stone. He's not landing. You out your mind if you're thinking Colorado is last stop, like you said, SEC or Florida State, in my opinion. So Colorado, enjoy it while you got him. You got him for about 3 years. Enjoy it.
Do you really think Florida State I ain't gonna say after he stole Travis Hunter, but can you actually see? You can actually see. I just think.
I'm gonna give you an example. FBI and law enforcement agencies will routinely hire criminals who are very good at what they do to come work for them. So it's like, damn, you stole them from us, but all right, I want that town that can steal people from us, to steal from other people, steal from Bama, steal from Georgia.
Okay. I can deal with that. Okay, well, let me ask you this one. Because I promise you, this kind of blew my mind. Like I said, I didn't even know that Luke was a coach. And like I said, you might want to check that video out. Because, he dropped some gems. Some of the stuff he was talking about, how they investigate you and all the rest of it. They investigate them players and the people they hang out with and stuff. The stuff he was talking about, I'm like, damn, this sounds like somebody applying for a job, TSA job. Investigating your back. I'm for real. He was telling a story about he told a couple of stories, but he was telling a story about this young man. They had went so far back in the young man's history to I guess when he was young, his mama, he was cutting up so bad his mama dropped him off at the fire station. I'm like, damn, they digging your history like that? But then again, I guess I can understand it. Paying out, giving out that much money, you want to make sure you getting the product and stuff. But with that being said, could you see Luke Skywalker or Uncle Luke or whatever y'all call him? Could you see him coaching at a HBCU?
As a head coach, no. But I mean, as an advisor or whatever, yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, if you present value to a coach is what they're trying to do, as far as, it sounds like he's a kind of local historian, so that could probably help out with recruiting. Recruiting is half of the thing, man. I got a homie who's a high-level coach. His main thing is recruiting. It ain't because of his basketball experience and knowledge like that. It's more because he can bring bodies to where the Power 5 schools can bring them. So, yeah, if he can present that as an asset, I don't see why not.
Yeah, so like I said, you hadn't seen the video, but if you do check it out, like I said, the stuff, and like I said, he just gave the rundown. Just listening to him, I'm like, okay, I could see him coaching. I could see him coaching in Florida. When you saying about Prime going back to Florida, I'm like, okay, I can see both of them coaching in Florida. I don't see Prime coaching in Florida, but the way you just broke it down about the criminal stuff, I guess I can see it, but I don't know if I want to go back to the scene of the crime, but you'd be scared of somebody. They're going to do something. They waiting to get you right in the right spot and do something to you. Because I know the folks salty about him taking Travis Hunter like that.
Man, if anything that people have shown is time heals all wounds. People, like, in the moment, you may be upset and you react in the moment, but with time, generally speaking, people kind of calm down. And you don't harbor that same vitriol unless you just turn the knife in somebody's neck and then you just a mortal enemy for life. Most people generally get over it and see big picture, but it's usually way in the rearview mirror. So,
well, he just flipped another Florida player too. So
yes,
how deep is not gonna turn now? They gonna forgive.
At the end of the day, you can dislike what he did to you, but he done flipped the 2 number 1 cornerbacks the past 2 years to come play for him. Not come play for his school, come play for him. So, listen, at the end of the day, if they can bring something to you, you may want to rethink your positions. And like Bell was saying, me in Between the Game Sports saying the stage of grief. Everybody was in the denial stage for a long time.
Yeah. Well, okay. So after 5 years, you calling Florida? I call Arkansas after 5 years, and I'm gonna tell you why I call Arkansas. When his contract ends in Colorado, old boy's contract it ends at the same time.
Okay.
I promise you, I see him in Arkansas.
I don't deny the fact that somebody just might bid him out of Colorado. Colorado didn't have the money to pay him this salary, which they get together for him.
No, he paying himself.
Huh?
He paying himself. I could understand. Now I don't mean no harm, and if it's any Jackson State fans, then I don't mean no harm when I say this. But I can't understand how come Jackson State didn't jump on that marketing express like Colorado did. That man up there paying himself.
I mean, listen, so we led in about institutional control. There may be issues among some of our schools. It is what it is. You're not having the framework to pool the money together the same way Arkansas can. It is what it is. What I do know is I think people, people know what Coach Prime is capable of. I just think he got to prove his next little level. So I think if he goes this year and just kills it at Colorado, I think he won't see the end of that contract in Colorado. I think somebody would gladly buy him out.
If he, I'm not no big college, but I don't want looking at that schedule that they playing. I'm not gonna say what he can't do, but if he can pull a plus 500, I'm gonna say he's doing good because that's a rough schedule. They got doggone USC. UCLA, yeah, that's a rough schedule. Yeah, well, you know what? You're right. Now, don't you come with no fairy tales talking about no 7 and 4. No, don't say nothing over 6 now. Don't say nothing over 6.
No, I'm saying if he pulls 500, that's a glaring success. He's coming from a team that won 1 game last year, so he's in a perfect position from a narrative standpoint. Now, there's some people who going to expect perfection out of him. They just going to hate regardless. I mean, it is what it is. But you're just kind of judging this for what it is. 500 would be a hell of an improvement.
Okay, well, take that same analogy for Bethune. Because didn't Ed Reed just get a couple of top stars too? Didn't he get like 5 top stars?
Yeah, if Ed Reed, Bethune got some guys. And so Ed, they gave Bethune one last year. Somebody in the chat dropped that record. What was Bethune? I know 2 years ago they won 1 game.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I know they lose a lot of close games. They kind of got that Mississippi Valley disease. Just said.
He said they get tired at the end.
Get tired.
Somebody told him the game was over too soon. Yeah.
They got that last little push to get through. Mm-hmm. You say Sean Shiloh Sanders. Well, he's a safety, but yeah. So Shiloh is a safety. Prime don't fool around and be Alabama. Hey, that's what they don't want to see.
Ooh, people.
Alabama, Lord have mercy.
That's gonna start a war around here.
What if that's the ultimate goal? Where they acting like they kind of not friends but friends?
You know what? That ran across my mind. I'm not gonna lie. You know what? Before the schedule came out, I was like, I bet you Colorado gonna do a charity game with Jackson, or they gonna end up having. If it is not this year, next year, Colorado gonna end up playing Nick Saban in some kind of charity something, just to test the water.
I wouldn't be surprised, man, because Saban is like 70 some odd years old, man. He can't do this forever. It'd be a perfect transition to get Prime in there, and then they got the business together they do with the Aflac, and
I thought y'all don't want to say they ain't coaching. They just the face of it. They not. Saban ain't coaching. How come he can't do it forever?
Listen, man. It's the rigors of waking up and showing up and doing all that too. So it ain't just you coaching. You got to actually be there and galvanize people and stuff. And you get up in your 70s, man. You may not be want to do that no more.
Now that man said the alum will lose their mind if they hire Prime there. I don't think they would want to hire Prime at Alabama only because they want this is my opinion. They don't want to tarnish they want to keep Nick Saban the face of Alabama. And Prime Star is a little bit too bright. It'll overshadow Nick Saban.
Yeah,
am I saying it right?
No, you're right. So it would have to be Nick Saban exit is a seamless transition to Prime, who is a brighter star than Nick Saban is, even with all the success he has. Because Nick Saban has a lot of failure too. It is what it is. And Coach Prime, like I said on the stream before, it's only like a handful of them dudes that have ever been born in this world.
But how would that be? But him going to Alabama, how would that benefit Prime's brand? Because it's all about branding with him. How is that going to elevate his brand? I don't see him going to Alabama. I don't see that elevating his brand.
I think so. I think that would make him the king of football. And I
to coach at Alabama?
Yeah, I think he would like that, and I think that would make his job as being a recruiter a lot easier. And he would just be on cruise control.
Now, if you take that same analogy and say maybe he go to Florida State and make them a champion, Alabama's already set in stone. They already have their niche in the ground per se. That's what I'm saying. It's just like winning $100 million. How do you beat that? Well, $100 billion, but that's rare. How do you beat that? They already edged in stone with Nick Saban. So how could Prime come in there and do better than that?
I don't think that's Prime's game. I don't think I think it's just been a virtue of his circumstance where he comes in and turns programs around. I don't think that's ultimately what he wants to be. I think he ultimately wants to just be the best at doing what he does and just winning. Because we saw him leave the 49ers and go to the Cowboys. We're already a problem. And the Cowboys and won a championship right after winning the championship with the 49ers. I think that's what Prime ultimately is. His Atlanta days was his underdog days, but then he went to San Francisco. That's a blue blood in the NFL. Then to only leave one blue blood and play against a rival and win a championship the following year, I think that's more of what Prime is ultimately. He just want to be the best. So I can see him redefining what the Alabama head coach is, or SEC, or high-level SEC coach. I can see him, even though they got the history of winning, it would almost be like a different kind of winning with Prime, if that makes sense.
Okay, what are as of right now, what are the top 3 SEC schools, football schools?
Bama, Georgia, and I know it fluctuates at the top.
Georgia is one.
Standings.
With the past 3 years.
LSU.
So LSU,
Bama,
Georgia, and Bama, the last 3 years have been the top SEC schools.
More or less.
I don't see it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just don't see it. I mean, I can see him, come into a program, reinvent it, make it household name brand again, and then move on. So you came into Jackson State, you reinvented, you rebranded, you made them a household name. So now you're going to go to Colorado. You're going to go in there, reinvent, make them a household name. So where could you go next?
Yeah, I just don't think he necessarily gonna follow that same blueprint. I think once he get one of those cush jobs that he considers to be.
Is there ever a cush job in football?
Well, some more cush than others. I mean, like for example, if you're coaching at Duke for basketball, there's a built-in recruitment with just the school. So as let's say that's competitive to coaching at Seton Hall, you gotta work a lot harder. You get guys at Seton Hall. Duke it's Duke. It's like you think basketball, college, Duke. So that's a more cush job. Now there's a lot of expectation to win. I mean, that's a double-edged sword. But I think most coaches would take that chance where you got the inside track to get the higher talent. That's what you would want.
Now, them some big shoes to follow behind. Look, like I said, me and these names, the coach that just left Duke. Them some big shoes to fill. Now, do you really want to fill them shoes?
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. Is Prime that kind of... So some people think half glass full, half glass empty. Do you think Prime's a half glass empty thinker?
Look, that's a...
I'm gonna help you out.
With Prime, do I think he think it's a half empty or half full?
He's a half full guy.
Yeah.
I also think that he gonna overcome it because he has a lot of trust in the Lord. He has a lot of trust in his natural ability, and he has the audacity to think that what made him a great player.
But making it half empty makes him work harder to get there, though. He's that type of person. So,
well, half empty thinks there's a chance of failure. He doesn't think in that failure paradigm. He thinks in the prosperity paradigm.
I look at half empty as working. You need to work extra harder to get where you need to get.
I'm a half empty person, so I'm like, man, all right, this may not be a smart decision. But Prime don't think like he thinks optimistically. Everything's optimistic. So, and I think his thing is like, don't let my confidence offend you or some shit like that. Like that's just who he is. He's a different kind of guy. He don't think he can fail. He think God gave him everything equipped, and who's to say he's wrong?
Okay. Well, I got one for you then, because you said it. His Prime's contract is 5 years. We can even use Ed Reed. Say Ed Reed has contract 5 years.
Okay.
And say both of them this year, they both get in there, because I'm not gonna say both of their adversities are the same, but we can say they're on even playing ground. Prime, 1 and 10, garbage, and Ed Reed is literally sitting in garbage. Say both of them come out on top this year. Just say somehow all the planets and zodiac signs lined up, and both of them come out on top. Who you think of buying both out? Because you said that somebody they're allowed to get their contract ball out. If both of them came out on top, who you see? Because I'm still trying to figure out, okay, where could Prime go that would elevate him?
SEC or ACC.
I
or
see
Big
him
Ten. Or even Big Ten.
But I thought SEC was the NFL of the college football league.
Well, so I'm saying SEC, ACC, or Big Ten is where he can elevate from Pac-12. Because they're all Power 5 conferences, but all Power 5 conferences not the same. Like Big 12. I love University of Texas, but Big 12 stinks. So Big 12 and Pac-12 are kind of on the outside looking in of the Pac-5. I'm sorry, of the Power 5 paradigm.
Could you see him going to LSU?
I could actually. And that would be like a city that would embrace the hell out of him too, because Baton Rouge is a chocolate city in a lot of ways. And then that Southern culture kind of would bleed over a little bit with Swac fans wanted to. I mean, not to say LSU got no problem selling out their stadium, but I think from a buzz standpoint, that definitely would be that would be like an ideal situation in my opinion. Now, does he like Louisiana? Who knows? But I think that would be awesome for him and for the student body. I think
you don't see that as going backwards. I see that as going back. I don't know why I said LSU, but I see that as
Colorado. Absolutely not. Oh no. Between Colorado and LSU, no.
But he's trying to. But Colorado just had a losing season.
They're losing like 2 decades. They've been horrible for 2 decades. They've been good since Brian Westbrook.
Well, yeah, well, you know what? I don't blame the coach. To me, it seemed like the alumni stepping up in there doing some stuff, because you just can't. I ain't gonna say what you can't do for 20 decades, but somebody doing something wrong. You ain't supposed to lose that long. I thought it was a couple of years. Oh God.
Oh yeah, it's been about 20 years. They've had 2 winning seasons in 20 years.
Damn.
Yeah, and I've been to that campus.
And they still have a football program, my lord.
But then they sent a cat, Philip Lindsay, to the NFL. He was an undrafted rookie running back about 4 years ago, and he made the Pro Bowl his first year. Now he kind of been bouncing around ever since. But I mean, Colorado been putting some guys in there. It's just like they can't put no wins together, man. It's just so. If we remember, about 10 years ago, they moved from the Big 12 to the Pac-12.
Right.
And they kind of just shuffled around and shit. That they still are the worst of a big conference.
You mind me asking? And speaking of moving around, I've heard a couple of people, like I said, just watching the videos, and the topic of not trying to change the subject, but the topic of Mississippi Valley and UAPB, they need to step down to a D2. They need to step down to a D2. Why would you step down? How does that benefit you stepping down?
The only way in my mind that it would benefit you if you're just continuously taking a loss as far as your athletics program. If y'all are like not making money at all, that would be the only benefit because you just can't handle that level. But I mean, other than that, no, there's just because you're bad doesn't mean you go down to D2. You just figure it out. Because when I was playing basketball at Prairie View Valley, was good. UAPB was good. I mean, it's cyclical with some of these programs. So no, you just ride it out till you get back good again.
Well, you know something, and maybe just me. Maybe you can help me out with this. Something I don't understand with HBCUs. And I'm trying to learn them because, like I said, my son doesn't do anything. He just does education. My daughter, on the other hand, she's in band. I'm a true band head. I was in band. I've always wondered why if the HBCUs, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but if the HBCUs are struggling like they are, you know that the band pretty much brings the crowd in. Mm-hmm. Why do they not utilize their band more?
I don't know, man. I think I know how coaches think, and most coaches hate the fact that coaches like to use the band for what they are, was putting butts in seats, but they don't want to really acknowledge that that's the real thing. It's almost like it's like a battle of wits between. You understand the band brings a certain cachet, but you be mortified if people like that over your actual program. So,
but that's basically what it is.
In a lot of cases,
am I wrong? It's just basically what it is.
I'm not, and I think that it's more like a philosophical thing where like they want to just dispel that as being a thing. Because I think the average rank and file coach hates that balance between people liking the band and people liking the football game or the basketball game. In their mind, it's a 50-50 split. They prefer it to be more like a 80-20 split.
But has it not been this way at HBCUs forever?
As long as I've been knowing about HBCU sports, absolutely.
Yeah. See, that's what I said. Like I said, me and my coworkers, since all this mess been going on, we just throw stuff up in the air and it's like bouncing stuff off the wall, and it's like, okay, you know, your bands bring in the crowd. And, you know, for example, you know, people love to hear, I'm going to use Southern. People love Southern. Love them some Southern. Why would you not make sure, if don't nobody else get there, the pep team, the cheerleaders, even the water girls, make sure that band get there? That's going to bring the crowd. That's going to bring you some revenue in. I don't understand that.
Yeah, but then you gotta, like, I guess, account for the band and pay for their little amenities and stuff like that, and because the bands are generally so big, unless you got like a little small version of them that you can use. So it may be some cross signals as far as communication and, like, you know, what you can, I guess, put as the band has to attend and things of that nature. So
this goes back to what I said earlier. Get them old heads out of there, because you get some young heads in there. Them young heads gonna want to hear that music. They gonna want to make sure that band is on point.
Well, I'll tell you what works too, Miss Diva. As far as basketball, man, a DJ, the right DJ in there. Because I say that because when I played, our crowds would hit or miss. Once we played Texas Southern, and you know that thing was filled to the brim. But when I coached at Prairie View, man, we had a cat named DJ Mr. Rogers, who's a big time DJ in Houston. And he's a Prairie View alum, so he used to do the home games just off the strength, because he's from Arlington, where the assistant coach, Talvin Hester, he's the head coach at Louisiana Tech now. But Talvin knew Rogers, you know, from back home in Arlington. So he would have Rogers come up and do the games, man, and people used to just, it was uncanny how filled our games were just to hear the music, the live music. So there's definitely something to that, whether it's the band or a DJ, there's definitely something to that.
I say you know, we know that HBCUs are struggling. We know they're struggling. But one thing about African American, and not gonna say the African Americans, white folks too, they love the band. And I mean, in some cases, you got to lose a little taste money to make some money in the overall scheme of things. Make sure your band is, like I said, make sure your band is there. That might bring some crowds in. Football coaches don't like the band. Are they playing at the wrong time? They doing this, they doing that.
That's how coaches look at it.
Yeah, that is. It's pretty much. And it's like, okay, but you know, if the band ain't here, ain't nobody gonna show up.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword with the band, man. Again, it's like, you know, it's a necessary part of putting butts in seats, but any coach would be mortified if they were more of the attraction than the actual product on the court. No coach will ever concede to that.
Yeah, look, you laughing because you used to be a coach. Okay.
Oh yeah, I know them conversations.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, I didn't dabble too much in it with my son, but my daughter in it, and it's like, y'all are shooting yourself in the foot. You know, if you let the band travel, you know, like I said, my baby go to school, them kids don't do nothing but go to class. That's it. They don't go nowhere. But it's like, you know, you might get some people out here if you bring some entertainment out here more than just homecoming. It's just, like I said, it's just so much stuff that I see. Because to me, high school football is no different than college football. You got to have some form of entertainment to bring the crowd out. That right there is going to generate some revenue. I mean, like using the prime thing. That man used social media to his advantage. Now with that, yeah, he set the blueprint. Every HBCU should have a social media team. Go get them kids, get them some volunteer time, or give them some free scholarship or something, and they can sit here and put you together something in 2-3 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they're hungry. They got the mind to do it. And yeah, if you just incentivize them properly, yeah, they'll do it for you because they want the notoriety. That was my video they put up. And I think, a lot of coaches just underestimate, or just athletic programs, they underestimate the internship. And it's kind of what Brian was talking about earlier. You get interns to come clean that goddamn office out of Bethune-Cookman. Give them your high school interns to come and give them, you know, more college hours of volunteering than they probably should deserve for that task. And everybody knows the workaround.
I'm gonna tell you what you do. You go over there to one of them high schools and you like this. How many of y'all want to come over here and help us clean up this campus, and y'all can come and y'all can be our managers at all their away games? Them kids will fly over there.
Absolutely.
Just for the chance of going with the being able to travel, shit, them kids come clean up their whole campus.
Absolutely.
Just to travel.
Yeah, you just gotta. It's misdirection, man. There's ways to go about it. It's just, I mean, Bethune dropped the ball, in my opinion, with that one particular thing. And I'm not hearing no excuses why a coach office should be clean. You know, you bring them in like that. That's just on no level. Like, I mean, even as a teacher, when I taught, your classroom was clean when you got a new classroom. Now it may be desks all over the place.
Yeah.
But they make the last teacher clean the classroom out. So it's not there's no room for failure unless you come into a room that was used as storage, and then, you know, that's different. But like, I mean, come on, if we're doing this on the state level as far as, you know, our public schools, like, you telling me a private school like Bethune-Cookman couldn't work that little kink out? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Do you think he should? Somebody was that you or the other young man was saying about the press conference. Do you think he needs to do a press conference now, or do you think he needs to wait a couple of months? I
think a press conference would not do them harm. I think just to kind of clear up his position and his commitment level and all that. I mean, just to put a nice little bow on it. I think that's a good idea. When that takes place, I can't call it because I don't know what they're doing internally. Because I know they see all the backlash, they see all the talk going around. So. What their contingency plan is.
That's why I say with a press at this, you know, sometimes you can just move too soon. It's just the water a little bit too high. It's boiling. You gotta let that simmer. It's got to get down to room temperature. So it's going to sit for a couple of hours. Doing a press conference now, half of the people gonna be like, whatever, nigga, and then the other half, is gonna be, look at them backpedaling, pussy popping. You could have just stood, just standing your stuff. Don't apologize. And then the other one just gonna be sitting there blank face, like, Next.
I'd
So I
argue-
mean, to do one now, is it gonna solve anything?
I'd argue most people gonna do what they do anyway. So you might as well just have your game plan together and just follow that bad boy through and just deal with the results because people gonna do what they do.
Yeah, that's why my opinion. I know he has to have one. I mean personally, we're not gonna even have no press conference until maybe a couple of weeks before the regular season starts. I'm just y'all gonna, like you said, y'all gonna think what you want to think anyway. So I'm gonna let you sit and stem in it. I'm gonna let my work on the field. I'm gonna let it prove its work.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, man, it's enough talking. You go put the product out there because Ed Reed, like you say, he come out 5-0, man. I'll always forgive him. The team was 2-9.
5-0.
The 2-9 program he's inheriting, man. You go out there and win, people gonna forget about that shit.
Is his schedule up already?
That I don't know. So
You giving them 5 games. You giving them 5 games.
I'm saying if you go win 5 games, then nobody got nothing to say. That's what I'm saying. I'm not giving them anything. I don't know what's on their roster fully. So.
Well, like we said, the games they lost last year, it was like close games. It was like they just gave out at the end.
Yep, Batty did that too. So it's just like it's hard to gauge, man. Till I see some more evidence.
No
consistency. It's open, obviously, with prime leaders, but shoot, Jackson been loading up too. They keeping their guys. So yeah, and Willie Simmons over there doing his thing over there at FAMU. So.
Is FAMU even supposed to be in the Swac? They just seem so out of place to me. I still don't understand FAMU's footing in the Swac. I don't.
It's their fans for me, man. FAMU got some interesting fans. If you guys are on Facebook, go to Rough in the Swac and just look how people everybody's unified in they hate for FAMU fans.
Because they seem like, they seem like the adopted child. Okay, we're gonna take you in into. It's like the child that you getting from the DHS office. Okay, we need to just place you somewhere until we get you a permanent home. And it's like, what are you here for? I could be wrong. Maybe it's just me. It's just like they just seem so out of. They don't even look like they got rhythm. It looks like they got raisins in the potato salad. They just don't. They seem so out of place to me.
Hey man, one of the weirdest places in the world is Florida. I'm sorry for my Florida listeners. Y'all just march to a different beat. That is life. y'all just do y'all own thing, man. And so it is funny to us Southern folk to observe y'all.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, because the persona that they give off is the persona they give off is PWI for real.
Yeah.
They don't give off whack at all, and I hate to say that they don't.
They different, man. They different. It would be like if Hampton came over to the Swac, it'd be like, the way y'all roll ain't nothing like how the Swac roll. It would be kind of one of those fits where it's not a fit. Because I mean, technically Virginia is the South, but that's more East Coast. It's like it's just a little different. And Florida is kind of Florida.
There. That's it. They just there. They just, okay, y'all down here with us. We just gonna add you. We don't like you, but okay, come on.
They do their own thing. So yeah, Ms. Diva. So any closing words? We're approaching 3-hour mark. I gotta eat.
Okay, my last closing words is I don't think Ed Reed should do a press conference no time soon.
Okay.
That's number one. I think Ed Reed need to go get some of them high school kids and come on over there and do what he do. Number 3, I'm still, and maybe the next time you go live, I still don't see. I don't see where Prime going. I don't see him staying in Colorado, but I don't even see him coming to Arkansas either. I'm still trying to figure out where he gonna go to elevate, because it's like, what else? Where else can you coach at? Shit, the Canada League or something? Because I mean. I just don't see. Like I said, it's maybe just me. I'm just like, okay, where like you said, stepping stone where you can go. But anyway, I ain't gonna go down that road. And I guess that's it. I want these folks to stop complaining about that man, because hell, the shit was messed up. Y'all know that y'all be complaining too. Y'all went over there and all that mess.
Agreed, man. And so, and that's kind of the crux of like what.
But I want you to go find that Luke. He did it. I don't know the name of the people, but he did. It was a long interview too. But he was dropping
the
some
thumbnail for it, so I'll go back and watch it. It came up on my timeline. I ignored it. So, all right, I give it a look.
Yeah, he wasn't talking, but he was just the stuff he was telling about how they recruit and all the stuff. He was to me, he was dropping some gems.
Okay, I'll check that out. Yeah, I mean, and listen, man, my whole point of this is people kind of fake outraging over this because it's something that we all know that's a problem. And my whole thing is just keep it funky about it. Like, I mean, I understand that we want to put our best foot forward when everybody's watching what's going on, and we kind of put our chests out. Like,
all eyes is on HBCU now.
Yeah.
If they wasn't, they are on there now.
Exactly. So, and I'm amongst the school of thought. Okay, let's take advantage of this time that's the Great Awakening, and let's address these real problems that we have. So that's all. That's the only side I'm on. Like I'm Swac first, HBCU, then everybody else. But I ain't gonna be on these streams line either, just to make it sound good. So that's just me personally.
And the last question, not the last statement. I don't even know if it's a question or statement, because see, y'all been running around here cutting up the last couple days. I done had to cuss out a couple of Cowboy fans. I'm like, y'all around here with y'all tutus and y'all Mary Jane Black wigs on. Get somewhere and sit down somewhere now. I'm so sick of you Cowboy fans. It's like, good God Almighty, I'm running over y'all like deer in the street. But
Cowboys.
Yeah. How about them? What about them? I'm still trying to figure it out.
There. That's a FAMU graduate right there. Go ahead, Miss B. What you got?
Do you really? What? I mean, I know you're gonna do your show on Sunday, but I'm hearing it's not looking too good for y'all come Sunday against them 49ers.
Depending on who you talking to. I mean, listen, they beat us pretty handily last year. We tried to come back at the end, it didn't happen. I think, man, that team that showed up last week, show up again this week, it's going to be a football game. At the end of the day, I don't care how good Brock Purdy's playing, their quarterback. He's the worst. Excuse me. He was the last quarterback or the last player selected in the draft last year. So at the end of the day, man, I like my chances against a 7th rounder, the last pick of the draft. At some point, he's going to fall off this carpet ride he's on. And so hopefully it's this weekend.
So that means, from the sounds of it, I'm going to have to deal with another week of y'all, because I promise you, I'm ducking and dodging y'all like deer in the street. Y'all been cutting up around here. Y'all damn Cowboy fans, like, good Lord. Y'all swabbing down, y'all won the Super Bowl.
Hey, now, I ain't say all that, but, people be saying we can't win no playoff game, so we won a playoff game against Tom Brady, so I ain't trying to hit. So, I ain't trying to hit.
Y'all know Tom Brady going through shit right now, because they're going to put this foot. Okay,
not my problem. Not my problem.
Okay, I'm glad y'all got a kicker too. I'm glad y'all pulled that kicker off practice squad, because I'm telling you, honey, they're the other one. Y'all better get them some Epsom salt and green alcohol, because he missing everything.
I ain't never seen anything like that. 5 missed extra points in a row. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. I was telling my girl, we was at a bar watching the game. I was just like, because she don't know football like that, so she didn't know who he's looking at. I was just like, this never happens. This never happens. And he missed 2, and then he missed 3. And I was like, there's no way he's going to miss another one. He missed the 4th one. I'm just like...
Look, I thought that man was trying to get him an NIL deal somewhere. I'm like, is he trying to get an NIL deal somewhere? No, he's got to go back to college, because the way he's missing these field goals.
Yeah, I've never seen nothing like that in my life. So, yeah, that was very... Yeah, so I'm glad we got a backup plan just in case he forget how to
all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I have enjoyed. I'm still not a Cowboy fan, but you see what we doing? We just getting ex-players, that didn't really do too much shit and making them coaches. So I can't say too much or nothing. As long as Saturday up there.
Everybody can't be great, so that's fine, Miss
I'm waiting on last question. I'm done.
All right.
Could you see a white person coaching at a HBCU?
Yeah, so Alcorn had one. He won 3 championships in a row.
For real?
Yeah, and he left and went to Southern Miss. He came in after Spires, I believe, at Alcorn. Yeah.
And I asked somebody, and they told me no, that HBCUs never had a white head coach.
Alcorn had one, like, I'm going to say early 2010s. Yeah. won three Swac championships.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yep, been there, done that. It's been happening.
Okay. Well, all right then. Well, that was it for me. I'm done with the questions. I've enjoyed.
Well, appreciate you, Miss Diva, and thank y'all listening, audience, man. Y'all hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new. So again, on this channel, man, I cover HBCU. I cover all sports. But being an alumni of Prairie View, you know, I take these discussions to heart because it's something I actually was a participant in. And I'm just gonna tell you from a perspective I know, man. And so if you like what's going on, hit the like button, subscribe. You appreciate it either way, man. If you want to disagree in the comment section, disagree. Just we ain't doing other content creators. We ain't doing all that stuff, promoting other people's stuff, man. We don't do that over here. Unless it's, you know, my guys I roll with, you know, that's fine. But yeah, you're not gonna weaponize channels. I don't play that good stuff over here. So.
I ain't gonna disagree with you, but I'm gonna tell you about your school. And I'm finna get out here. I know one of my babies wanted to go to your school. He wanted to go to your school. He wanted to go to your school. He played quad. And your school, Prairie View, did my baby wrong.
They do.
They ain't want to give him no damn money.
Oh, that sound about Prairie View.
They didn't want to give him no money, and he had a 23 on the ACT, 3.7 students. They didn't want to give him no money.
That sound about PV.
Okay, well, you have a good night. I ain't gonna talk about him bad because I still love the band.
All right, Miss Diva, appreciate you. Everybody listen, thank y'all so much. And till next time, talk to you soon. Peace.